This to make it 28-3. Arthur Blank loving it. Up by 25. Toss to White. He's in! What a comeback!
All right, welcome to another episode of the 28-3 podcast. Today is our much anticipated season preview episode. So go ahead and buckle up because we're going to be here for a while, I think. Nick's got his High West double rye kicking, so we might get some extra spicy takes out of him.
Yeah, I'm rocking a double Stella neat.
There you go.
Yeah,
Are you allowed to say that now on the air?
Oh, shit. Yeah, I'm
Okay,
fine.
we're good? Good. Just want to make sure. So we're going to have a little structure to this episode. So we're going to go position by position, give our breakdown and analysis. We'll take turns on that one. Then we're going to go final record predictions. I don't think we need to go game by game and do it that way. We can just say, hey, I think the final record is going to be this. And then if you want to highlight any games, we can
Yeah,
do that.
like any surprise wins or something like that.
Yeah. And then we'll go fearless predictions. Each of us will have 3. And then we're going to roll into hot takes. This year, we're limiting it to 1 each. So no Marcus May hot takes like 2 years ago. That one was not a hot take, and you got to do better than that.
Okay, so unrehearsed moment here. What's the difference between a fearless prediction and a hot take?
I feel like a hot take needs to be a little spicier than the prediction.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, we can take the fearless part out of the predictions if we want. Maybe not
All right.
too fearless, but...
Sure.
And then we're going to wrap it up with Corey's lock of the season. Brought to you
Lock
by...
of the year. Norton Leatherman Spine Center of Louisville, Kentucky.
There you go.
And
We
it
gotta
is
get
the
used to saying that again.
first ever season-long lock. Because we
Yes.
started the locks midstream last year. So now that we're coming into a new season fresh, season-long lock. Let's go.
I feel like the lock should be don't listen to any of your weekly locks of the week. Like, don't go bet on them.
Max, we're supposed to bury the lead. You can't just,
There we go.
spoiler, fuck.
Are we going to do what we talked about where we start an account and just
Yeah,
bet?
we're going to definitely do that.
Yeah,
So
we're
we
gonna
gotta
try
get
to
on it.
we're gonna try to make the lock something that you can actually go find on a sports book.
Yeah.
And we'll post it. We'll post Corey's results and how he bets it because you can do multiple locks. You could do a
Yeah.
parlay lock. You could do it's basically going to be a lock bet.
So it's got to
how
be
we
something
do it.
we can actually bet on. So you got to do research on this.
Right.
Yeah,
I'll have to
before.
download the betting apps, which I've never seen them before. I've never done sports gambling.
Never?
It's
Right.
such a
Never had it.
a bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. It'll be something we can do.
Yeah, we're going to track it, and then if the account actually wins any money, I think we can donate it to maybe Team Gleason, no white flags, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Let's do that.
Always get costs. Yeah. We're going to win so much money with my locks. And our apologies in advance to Team Gleason if they don't hit.
Team Gleason's about to owe us money. That's all I know.
Jesus. Yeah.
I'm going to need a little more confidence out of you.
They're going to donate to
And,
Corey.
You're right. I should be very confident considering how my locks did last year.
And I'm hoping that you're going to wear this beautiful, shiny helmet during the locks, maybe some sunglasses too, the chain.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have to watch this whole episode
I hope it's
to
a different-
find out.
Different get up every week.
Yeah, you know,
We're
like
gonna accept
AK rocks that gold visor.
You gotta get
Maybe
that.
we'll have to. I mean, they probably go for like $250. But you know, considering the helmet was a gift, maybe that's my contribution. We'll see. I don't know.
You think the visors are that much?
They're Oakley. They're serious. Well, they're impact resistant too. So they're not,
You definitely need that.
they're not cheap. Yeah, I mean, you said you'd slap the piss out of me if the video stopped working. So I'm gonna need all the protection I can get.
Jesus. You
I
hit
think-
record, right? This is recording?
Yeah, hit record. So hopefully y'all can see us.
All right. Well, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive
Double
into...
checked recording.
You want to do that real quick?
No,
before I
no,
continue?
we're good. Yeah.
Well, without further ado, we'll go ahead and dive into the quarterback position. Corey, why don't you start us off? Actually, before you start, let's go ahead and revisit last year's season preview episode. You know, do you remember what you were saying about the quarterback position going into the 2025 offseason?
If I
Maybe give us a
recall,
little
if I recall
cliff notes.
correctly, because you know I don't know if anybody listened back to it. What
If you haven't listened to it, I highly suggest
Well,
listening to the first 30 minutes.
what had happened was,
There you go.
yeah, no, I just very calmly predicted that, you know, we have a young rookie in Spencer Rattler like we did at the time last year, and we had a proven vet in Derek Carr. but we didn't really know anything about Rattler. So if we ever got the first pick, we should just pick a quarterback. I think it was that simple.
Something like that.
Sort of the exact opposite.
Yeah.
There we go. It was entertaining, though. I really think maybe that can be a little supplement to this episode, like a quick little 30 minutes.
I was going to say, it's funny you bring that up because I'll say this, just to get all the uncertainty out of the way, to clear the air. New year, new me, new season, new me. If we get the first pick next year, take a damn quarterback.
There we go.
He's already come around. Look at that.
We can get that out of the way now because that was not what I said last year. Take a quarterback.
I like it. You're progressing, you're learning, and
maturing.
It makes me feel good about your future.
We'll see. Can't make any guarantees about my future. There's a lot of moving parts there. But I will say about the quarterback position this year, speaking of future, whether you like it or not, a lot of fans were just like, I just want to see our team do well. And look, we do. That's anyone saying that is correct, and that is the case. But, every Saints fan, somewhere in the depths of their thoughts, had a guy they wanted, right? You either wanted Chuck or you wanted Rattler. God forbid any of y'all out there actually wanted Hainer to be the guy. But, so I can admit that I wanted to see us take the chance with Chuck and roll him out there knowing that the first few games would be bumpy as hell. Like, look back to even Peyton Manning struggling in the first few weeks. But that said, we've said this multiple times. It is our team. So we're going to rally behind the guy that is behind center. So, and look, there wasn't that much of a difference between Rattler and Chuck. So it's not like we could say, oh, they made like such a horrible call by going with Rattler over Chuck. That's not the case. So, and in reality, if you're looking at it in the immediate term, I do think Rattler looked more comfortable throughout the course of the preseason. We couldn't see all the practices, but if you want to put someone out there who's more ready now, then Rattler was the right choice for that. I think the reason some of us who wanted to see Chuck was because you give him the game reps to become ready sooner. Obviously, Kellen Moore, Nussmeier, powers that be, Tolzien, they think they can develop in practice, which is fine. But there's not really a whole lot of projection here for the quarterback position because there's no track record. And the only track record we have seen out of the guy who's QB1, look, I hope he kills it. I hope he does well. I hope he can, run the offense. We cannot have any expectation that he's going to come in here and be, Kellen Moore's corollary to Jalen Hurts and do all that stuff well. But all we can hope is that he limits mistakes, he puts guys in good positions, he puts the ball in a good spot, and that he gives us a fighting chance to win some games. So that's what I'm looking for. At least we know we have a guy with potential in Chuck. And I'm not going to be one of these guys who says, like, you definitely have to bring Chuck in by week 5 or 6. That's yet to be seen. But it's a very much is what it is position.
Give me a letter grade.
I mean, C at best.
You're going that high.
Okay.
At best, I mean.
No. As of right now, going into week 1 in a week and a half or whatever it is,
I think a D's too low. Give it a C-.
Okay. That's.
All right, I'll go next. It's an F, and it's not close. It's the worst quarterback room in the whole league by a wide margin, I think. I think it's very bad. We don't have a win out of our starting quarterback. How many teams have gone into a season with 0 wins at the quarterback positions? I tried. I didn't research it, but I was just trying to think off the top of my head, and I think I would remember something like that.
Or teams that are not starting a rookie. I mean, because
even if they are, they usually have a backup that has won a game.
Yeah.
You've got something on the roster like as a backup plan or something.
Yeah.
We've got goose egg going on, and that's. I'm sure it's probably happened. I cannot imagine it's happened very often. I think the things you said about Rattler that you hope, he reduces turnovers. Well, he puts the ball on the ground a lot, fumbles. He's done okay in the interception category. Hasn't, thrown a whole bunch when he played last year in the preseason, but does have a few of those on his resume. Low completion percentage, takes a ton of sacks. Like every box you look at for a decent starting quarterback, so far, he doesn't check any of them.
Yeah, well, I said it last episode. I don't think we have a starting quarterback on our teams. Yes, maybe C- too generous.
Yeah.
But I'll say this either.
You said C-, right? I'm gonna go.
That's what I said.
Down.
He can alter it though if he wants.
Grade regardless, though. And one thing I do want to add, you made me think of it. I have issues with Rattler's accuracy with not on the out routes or certain throws. He's fine. Like he's got a decent deep ball, but like the miss to Shaheed, that wasn't just a one-off. There's been multiple times where
the way I like to say it, because we talked about it a bunch last year, is the ball is very rarely exactly where it should be.
Yeah.
It's always a little off.
Right.
It's a little high. It's a little behind. It's a little. And the consistent accuracy is not.
And
there.
that might be fine in college, but in the pros, like it's got to be on the spot.
Yeah.
Like
they're too good.
Yeah.
To go further down the list, when we did our draft episode, the point I made.
Hold on, did you say F or F minus?
I mean, if there's such thing as an F minus, I'm fine with it.
I hit it a couple times.
Okay, you can put 12 minuses on it for me. I think it's a terrible run. Not to say, I mean, I hope Shuck pans out. I absolutely do. But what I said on the draft episode was, when you come into the league and you're going to essentially start the season, I think game 2, game 3, he's 26 years old.
Yeah.
You've given up that right. You're either ready or you're not.
Right.
And he was drafted as a pro-ready guy. Everyone said he was the most pro-ready in the draft, whatever that means these days. I don't freaking know. And he couldn't beat out the worst starting quarterback in the league last year by every statistical metric. So you draft an older guy who's supposedly ready. You bring him into a very easy job to win, and he couldn't win it for whatever reason. And I don't disagree with Corey that maybe Rattler looked more composed and all that. I mean, I think what we saw is both quarterbacks succeed a little bit in the second half against the second and third unit, and no one succeed against the first units, either one of them. Right. So, yeah, Rattler does appear more composed. He does have that leader vibe to him, I think.
Yeah.
But the play just isn't there, and you have to have that. Do I think there's a switch that he's going to flip and that's going to be the case? I don't. Yeah. So I do think we see Shuck fairly early in the first 5 games. Rattler may not be terrible, but I don't think we're winning games. So at what point do you see what you have in Shuck? I don't know. So I wish we wouldn't have wasted that 40th pick on him, to be quite honest with you. That's how I feel about the whole thing. I'd rather just go the whole year with Rattler and have that 40th pick back.
You mean have it back?
That's where we were after the draft. I don't think any of us were happy about spending the 40th pick on
Well, you
Shuck,
said you think we see Shuck come like 5 games in or 6. Do you think it's wasted if that's the case?
I think him not winning the job probably tells me what's going on and that he's probably not it.
Actually, go ahead and tell the listeners what you texted me the other day when it was announced. You were like, I'm not even going to talk about the quarterbacks. I'm just going to talk about the quarterbacks that are in the NFL draft in 2026.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Let's start talking about the draft because I feel like, we'll talk about it when we do our records and everything. I love fandom. I've followed this team my whole life. It's like my favorite thing to do in the world. Okay.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the optimism and how we always try and find things to like look forward to during the season, all that. This is bad right now. And we can say it was necessary, but we've been dragging out this necessary process for quite a bit now. Does it feel
kind of like we're bringing knives to a gunfight?
Yeah, I mean, we are. This season, we are undermanned.
Feels like we're bringing pillows to a gunfight.
So, which brings in, before, I'm going to go on a tangent again, like I tend to do about this one person who I can't stand at this point in his career, Loomis, that put us in this situation. And, Max has had to listen to me about this for years, even when we were
That's why I don't have any hair.
Right. I mean, the guy is... the game is clearly, and by the game I mean the GM game, has clearly passed him by.
Yeah.
Anyone who doesn't see that, I don't know what to say. He uses draft picks as if they're worthless, like you would back in the 90s where, hey, established players much more valuable, salary cap thing wasn't the same situation. Now the draft is the most important thing to building a franchise. And we've treated those picks like they're not valuable at all for a decade since this has been the case.
The recent one with the look, Vele looks awesome and what we need, but a fourth round is
fourth and a seventh, and
tough to swallow.
I'm fine if you throw away a 7th round pick on a flyer. I have no issue with that. A 4th round pick should contribute to your team every year,
especially when you're a projected top 5 picking team.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's back into the 3rd round pick most likely.
Yeah. Right.
And he's 27 years old. So
He'll be 28 in December.
right,
Yeah.
Towards
We
the
can
end of
talk
the
more
season.
about him in the.
Yeah, we will. We'll get to that in the wide receiver room. But Loomis is a guy who got Drew Brees, got Peyton, and even though I didn't think he was the best GM, they clearly had something working, right? As a trio, they were fantastic. I give most of the credit to Brees. I give secondary credit to Peyton, and Loomis is third. That's just how I feel of those three. Because without Brees, I don't think the other two are necessarily successful.
Well, you saw Belichick without Brady.
Right.
I mean,
it comes down to that time when you have a generational player. But then I'm going to say, like, during that time, how many times were we complaining about the roster? Why did, what's the percentage? 14 teams out of 32. What percentage is that? 40, 43%, 40, somewhere around there. So 43% of the teams make the playoffs, right? A year, roughly. Just over 40%.
Yeah,
let's just call it that. So every team should expect to have a percentage around there. In Loomis's career, what are we? We're 9 for 24.
In a vacuum, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but it just is like a general metric. Not it's obviously if you've got a Brady, you're going to make it every year.
There's moving parts, but
9 of 15 with Brees at the helm, we made the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you're
Tom
above average.
Brady never missed the playoffs when he was a starter. Peyton Manning missed it his first year.
Yeah.
And never again. Aaron Rodgers missed it the years he got injured only. So when you have those type of players, which are his contemporaries that were, to me, on the level of play that we were getting from Drew Brees for all that time, we couldn't build a roster just to make the playoffs. I'm not talking Super Bowls. I'm like, you're missed
and
40% of the playoff.
You're going off on a tangent.
And that
now.
also,
let's do the
but that wasn't a
but
high.
I'm just saying,
I'll say too, that was not a high bar to reach because we saw what Drew did with guys who were not contributing for other teams.
So without Drew Brees, he's made it 0 for 8 in the seasons. And this year's most likely going to be 9. So there is no GM in football that still has a job 0 for 9. Now, clearly, the Drew Brees era it counts, and we have to. But it's a terrible roster right now. He's never proven to be able to do it without that player. At what point do we start to change something? But that's just a tangent. I know I can't stop talking about it, but I really think that's where the tipping point is for the franchise right now.
To be fair, you warned us.
You did.
I did. It's coming. So that's why the quarterback room is what it is. That's
Maybe we
why
should have like a whole front office part of this at the end. But I mean, you're already doing your speech on it right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
He might grade that lower than the quarterback room.
When it's to me the most glaring problem. Like it's hard for me to I can't blame Shuck. He's a second round pick. Like okay, you need some time, whatever.
Yeah,
but
the players are your employees. They're walking through the door to show up, do their job. They can't control if they're working for Jeffrey Epstein's kids' toys,
Yeah.
or something.
When you mismanage Cap the way he did. Now, again, another tangent on Loomis, but I agreed with that when Brees was finishing his career. But as soon as Brees finishes his career, it's reset time on the cap. It's get balanced, lean in on the draft, get it fixed. Okay, he didn't do that either. I just think the game's passed him by. He's still going by an old school mentality with it, and that's why we have such a thin roster and we're dealing with this. On top of how poorly we draft. Rattler was a great draft pick. We've gone over that a million times. Yeah. 5th round pick. I think he's here as a backup probably for a long time. I think, we'll see what Shuck does.
But don't think he's a long-time starter.
He is not. He's not. So, you just don't see a leap from what we saw.
No, not from what we were able to. I mean, look, whether it's Rattler or Shuck, we're not going to know. You can't know whether it's rookie or second-year guy. I mean, he's a half rookie. He played half of the season. So
but it's a guy
you don't know until they play real games.
He had 3 touchdowns last year, right?
Yeah.
2 of them were on flea flickers.
He had not
okay? 2 of them were on flea flickers.
He had not enough.
He had 1 real touchdown in 7 games.
Well, y'all called it by saying he, in the NFL, he had a 1-to-1 touchdown interception ratio, which is not good.
Yeah, and it was only 3 in 7 games.
It's not good.
It's not
As
good.
they say, it's not good.
It was 4 touchdowns and 5 interceptions.
Okay, 4 touchdowns, 5. 2 of them were trick play flea flickers. So 2 touchdowns, 5 interceptions in regular style play. Mm-hmm. That's very poor. Completion percentage, what, 56, 57, somewhere in that range?
Look, I just
so
yeah, but the fan in me is like I get some fans get mad at national media when they dog our team. I can't even get mad at the national media because I get it. As a Saints fan, I'm trying to keep it positive. I'm trying to do the Kellen Moore approach where we're going with the guy, we're rallying behind him. He's not looking over his shoulder. he's the guy they decided has the best out of anybody else in the room. But Max, you haven't really talked about this yet.
Well, just for the final grade, I give it an F for sure because
with 12 minuses.
I just don't think they're anywhere close. That's it.
Well, and you also gave Loomis an F too, so
there has to be a lower grade.
I'll join you in that.
That was the primary focus of his talk here. So it was
But
Loomis.
what do you give? Loomis?
Don't encourage this.
I don't even.
Anyway, so he
F's
said
not even enough.
he says an F. I'm going to go ahead. I already have my grades written down. I
Give
had
him
an
a G?
F written down as well for the quarterbacks. Basically everything you guys said. It's an unproven room. There's not a single win in the room. So there's no way you can give it any grade other than an F. Considering they were neck and neck stats-wise in the preseason, neither one could separate from the other one. I'm not going to speculate about practice. We don't have any access to it.
Yep.
We have to rely on, what comes out from the Saint legit media. But what we see in the preseason games is all we can go off of, and it's an F. They showed up, they participated, didn't win any games.
No
I don't think
touchdowns in the first half,
scored a touchdown
right?
in the first half.
Right.
You can't give it anything more than an F. That's why when
You can. I gave it a C minus.
I can do what I
your
want.
logic on that is unbelievable. But
It's okay.
it's a bad room. I am going to say this. Kellen Moore, until he gives us reason to not trust him and to be skeptical about what he does, I am going to take the stance of taking him at face value and giving him the benefit of the doubt. I do like that he came out and said that, they don't develop quarterbacks anymore in the NFL. And he was talking about there's a way to develop him. And look, this guy was riding the pine as a third-string quarterback for most of his career, but he was in locker rooms seeing how quarterbacks are not being developed. And you hear a lot of former quarterbacks and a lot of former players say that. Quarterbacks don't get developed anymore. Right. It's not like back in the day where, a guy might get drafted, he might sit on the bench for a season, 2 seasons, 3 seasons. Like Aaron Rodgers is a prime example. Pat Mahomes is the last one I can think of that was a highly drafted guy that sat for a full year.
Jordan Love.
Jordan Love did.
Jordan Love, that's another one.
I'll say this.
But, hold on.
Yeah, sorry.
So that's, to that point, I'm going to give Kellen Moore the benefit of the doubt and say, you know what, maybe he's onto something. Maybe he knows what he's doing. He hasn't given us any reason to be skeptical yet. So, this is one of those buy the ticket, take the ride situations. I'm here for the ride. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt.
But let me ask you this.
I do agree, though, that if we're going to do this and we're just going to start Rattler and, for whatever the reason is, why spend the 40th pick on Shuck? You know what I mean? He's not a 21-year-old developmental guy. He's a soon-to-be 26-year-old developmental guy. And that 40th pick, that should be a starter. Now, we say that, and we look at what we've done with second-round picks and first-round picks over the last couple of years. The track record is absolute trash. So, Foskey, look no further than Isaiah Foskey, who we just released.
Also number 40.
Number 40. So,
same slot, yeah.
Right, so we can't sit here and say that, that 40th pick would have been a starter. For all we know, it's another Foskey or another Stanley John Baptiste or, just go down the list. I mean, Caesar, whoever it may be. Nick touched on it when he went on his rant about Loomis. Drafting is what has killed this team.
Yeah.
The salary cap, people can point to the cap all they want. That's not what killed this team. If this team were drafting well, we would have made up the mistakes that we've made on the salary cap.
And to Nick's point, even during the Breeze era, if we had drafted better prior to the 2017 draft, don't forget that era included Stephon Anthony, also a second-round pick.
He was
right?
a
First round pick.
That was he first got. Jesus.
Anyway, so before we go off on another tangent, quarterback. Quarterback, I give it a firm.
Point proven.
It's an F. It is an F.
Yeah.
There's no way you can give it a higher grade than that, in spite of what you say.
The way you do it is you just do it.
You just lie to yourself.
He said he was just feeling it, like he's just being a fan. So that's fine.
Well, I was
that's
gonna
what we
say,
love about this.
we can all be fans, but
you brought up a point that the only thing that can make you consider bringing it up, even though you've said you can't consider bringing it up from an F, is if it's the QB who's around the QBs, the people who are not players, the coaches. If this was if Kubiak hadn't left and it was just him, and there wasn't a former NFL QB and more, if there wasn't Nussmeier, if there wasn't Tolzien, there wasn't so much support behind these guys, if it was just the same old shit from last year, that would make me bring it down lower because there's nothing showing me why Rattler will improve over from last year to this year. He's got a different playbook, a different offense, different coaches telling him how to handle things this year. That's the only reason I have a little bit of hope that he can be better. We haven't seen it. I agree with y'all. We haven't seen it. But that's one thing. But
let me ask
but
you
I will
this.
say,
What's everyone say when we got DA out of here, we got Carr out of here, and it's worse? What's gonna be the narrative, you think?
Someone will come up with something on social media. I promise you that. Because the battle lines are drawn. There's people on this side. There's people on this side, and everyone's got an excuse.
Because it's the same team as last year, essentially, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe Reed for Matthew.
Godshaw in the middle. The D line's better. The D line's definitely better D line coach. I mean, you don't have Grant.
Well, hold on. Let's stay on the positions.
Let me just do this one last point. I mean, it is the most important position on the team, so it's fine.
I'm keeping y'all on task today. We're not fucking bouncing all over the place.
No, you're going to need to. But I will say this: about the QB thing as a whole, and who should play, who shouldn't play, when I listened back to last year's preview episode, one of the things we said a lot when we did talk about Rattler.
Did you cry when you listened to your takes on the quarterback?
Cringe, but not cry.
There you go. Okay.
Cringe, not cry. Was when we talked about Rattler as a rookie, we said, look, he's got potential, he's got talent, but there's no, and we were correct to say he should not start this year as a rookie. I did say that, but we said let him sit a year, let him develop, do the old way, and then see what he's got. If we applied our same logic from last year to this year, we're kind of doing that with Shuck. We're letting him develop. But now the only difference is that we don't have a Derek Carr.
That's the big difference now.
Right.
It's a monster difference.
Anytime we talked about bringing in a veteran, there was a narrative or an idea, which I don't totally disagree with, which was like, say the Browns got disenamored with Joe Flacco and we took him in. A lot of people were saying, well, that would just delay the development of the guys we have. So, but if we had a veteran, then it would change the narrative on Shuck. His age is what it is. We can't change that. He's old. But
you can't change it, but you have to take it into account.
Well, but I think Moore's looking at it like, look, we got to get a player at QB no matter what. And whether he's 26, whether he's 23, 24, 25, 26. So we drafted him. He's here on the rookie contract. Whether that contract ends when he's 28 or when he's 32, it doesn't matter because we got to develop him regardless. So if they're taking the let's develop him approach, they're going with the next best guy who's the most ready over Shuck, and that's just where we are. And I think that's really I'm looking for a letter grade. It's on the team because we are where we are.
I don't disagree with that at all, other than the fact that it's my opinion, and it may be solely my opinion, that he was not a 40th pick. I feel like we reached to get him, which to me says we liked him. Like we really thought he was something. I don't think he goes in that second round. He may have. Maybe there was another team that was like going to overlook the age and stuff like that.
Supposedly the Rams were very high.
Someone else would have drafted him. I don't doubt that someone else in the second round.
I don't either. Somebody
would have drafted him.
Yeah.
That's the way the league is. There's reaches happening at certain positions because of the position value.
Yeah.
You're reaching on pass rushers. Like some pass rushers were not reached on high enough, but
That was an awesome statement.
I don't know what I'm going on a tangent like you are.
All right, let's get it back on track.
They were reversed reached.
Any final thoughts on the quarterback before we move on?
It's really bad.
Okay, I am going to say this.
I'm still trying to figure out what I just said.
I want to go on record. Yeah, it hasn't registered with me.
I think I just clicked out for a second.
I want to go on record and say that, look, here's the deal. Rattler is the starter. I hope to hell Rattler is successful.
Yeah,
because I want to watch good quarterback play. The fan of me wants to have Kellen Moore be the next Sean Payton and have the success that Payton had here, be here for 15 to 20 years, and turn one of these quarterbacks into the next Breeze.
Ooh.
The realistic side of me says that's not going to happen. There's a very minuscule chance. That being said, we are fans, short for fanatic. We're probably idiots about it, but we can hope. You are. We can hope that, one of these quarterbacks turns into that guy. So I'm going to pray to God that Rattler turns into that guy. And then if Shuck comes in at some point, then I hope Shuck's that guy.
If you turn Rattler even into a playoff caliber quarterback, that's a home run on the fifth
100%
round pick.
That's a grand slam.
Yeah. So there's that.
Okay.
I
Let's
hope
go-
for the same things.
Yeah, we're all hoping for whoever is starting to be successful.
Then we're saying
that's the bottom line.
we didn't reach high enough. What did I say?
Here's the deal. I don't give a shit about being right about the quarterback.
Nobody knows.
I don't care about being right about who the quarterback is.
Yeah.
I don't. I would rather be wrong and watch good football than be right and watch bad football.
That's fair.
So just let one of them be good. I don't care which one it is.
All right.
All right, let's move on to running backs. We're going to start with you. I mean, you can get your tangent out of the way as quick as possible.
I
You
don't
don't
have
get to
one
mention
here.
Loomis at all on this
Oh, I'm
running
sorry.
back topic.
There's just no way I was going to get started without it because he's to blame. Running back. I'd give running back a C+, I think. I think with AK, I bet he still got as much juice as he had last year. Yeah, I don't think that'll be some crazy fall off from 29 to 30. I think we have to realize the end is near, but by all accounts, he's in good shape, and he doesn't play that. He's never taken a ton of carries. He's never so it's the wear and tear thing is probably a little bit less on him than your normal 30-year-old running back. But I will say he's only played every game in a season once in his career. He gets dinged up. That's just reality. The last few seasons, it's been more. Obviously, age probably kicking in there. I think he missed 4 last year and 3 the year before, something like that. Maybe it was only 2 the year before. Right at the end of the season, he just wore down, and at the end of the season, he pulled an injury. If he's in there, it's a decent room. We like what we see from Kendre. Again, health. If he were to get hurt right out the gate too, I think the room takes a big drop. I'm counting on him to be like a 500-plus yard back this year. And then I think, the 2 young guys, we haven't seen enough to really know, but I like having 2 young guys that might have something.
They got what Max likes with the juice.
Yep. And, we haven't seen a ton of it, but there was the one game Jones looked really quick, which was at the second game.
I think it was the
First, the stats weren't great, but he had a couple catches.
First game, yeah.
Yeah, he had a couple catches, and he looked twitchy. He looked like he was, that he could break something. Neil obviously came on very late in camp because
he looked good
in
the third game.
He looked pretty good when I went back and watched it. Nothing crazy explosive, but
He's more of a smart runner.
Yeah.
Than
He's got that.
Yeah.
Pierre
he's that Pierre
Thomas
slow.
kind of thing
Yeah,
going,
the old what was the
There's-
dude from Pittsburgh? The old Le'Veon Bell type
got-
of like.
that kind of dancing around and just kind of picking your way through.
The only pushback I have on that is that Le'Veon had a lot of wasted steps because he would pitter patter, then burst. Pierre, and I think what Neil does similar, well, yet to be seen if he's like Pierre, but there's no wasted steps. Their vision is there. They're efficient with the routes they take.
It's probably because they're both incredibly slow and didn't have that.
They got to make up for it.
Right.
Yeah.
He's got the
survival of the
Ingram
fittest.
thing where he's not straight line fast, but he's got the good burst up front.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go C+. I don't feel like that's a huge problem for the team, but I don't think it's explosive either.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go this time, it's just so I can get a word in. So looking at this room, so I agree with everything you said about AK. He doesn't really have much wear and tear on his body, so, we really shouldn't see much of a drop-off from 24 to 25. Velus Jones, he has that thing I love, which is juice. He's fast as fuck.
Yeah.
And there was that debate where he was talking about racing Rashid Shaheed. He's like, yeah, I'm the fastest one here.
He claims it.
He claims it. I'm going to tell you, man, he's got a case because I think Shaheed probably...
I don't care if he actually is faster. If you're going to claim
It's a competition.
you're going to be damn close.
Right. It is a competition, and it's not a... none of us can definitively say one is faster than the other, which tells me he has juice because we know that Shaheed does. Devin Neal, you talked about it. He kind of has that Pierre Thomas thing going on. He's not the fastest, but he's shifty and he's got good burst, and I feel like if given the chance,
AK has a little of that too, to be honest.
oh yeah, AK
It's
was
like
never a home run speed guy.
Neil's
He had
also
the
got
burst.
size, which is nice.
Neil 5'11", 213, AK's 5'10", 215. So kind of in that same range. He's right at Pierre Thomas size, if I remember correctly.
Pierre was a little shorter, wasn't he? 5'9". What was Pierre?
I think he was 5'11".
Oh, was he? Okay.
We'll double check it.
That's
Velus Jones, 6 feet 200. Now he was a former wide receiver.
Right.
So I remember him at Tennessee playing for the Vols, and he was an older rookie when he came out. So he is 28 years old right now. He's only been in the league about 4 years.
He was the Bears last year, right?
Yeah. I think he might have moonlighted with another team. I could be wrong, like the Dolphins.
How do you do that?
That being said, though, he has speed. He doesn't have much wear and tear on his body. Former wide receiver.
Yep.
You would think he should be a good third down back, be able to catch the ball. Kendra Miller, 6 feet, 220, still only 23 years old in his third season. Obviously not much wear and tear on his body because he hasn't fucking played. But, I'm optimistic about him this year. I think the running back room, I wrote down a C, but I think
You're talking yourself up right now.
I am talking myself up. It's honestly the position group on offense right now that I feel probably the best about.
Probably out of all the position groups on offense, it might have the highest ceiling, I think.
I think the offensive line has the highest ceiling. But I'm going to say right now the floor is the highest for the running backs just because you've got an established talent and there's finally some juice in the room. Kendra's got juice. Every time he plays, you see the burst, you see he's got speed, and he's got size.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I'm bumping it up. I'm going to change mine actually to a B.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think I've talked myself up to a B on this one.
B flat?
B flat. I don't like doing the minuses. So I'm going to go with a B.
Got to do minuses.
They just gave Max a fast guy, and he completely changed his whole room because he's been waiting on it for a decade.
Max is like the Kool-Aid man. You give him some juice, and it's
listening to last year.
I like that.
Listening to last year, he's
busting
shit
through walls
all over this room last year.
But it was slow as fuck.
It's the same with Jones.
No, it's not because you have Neal
and
Jones added to it, and Kendra is actually
as much as
healthy.
I love the guy,
And we got rid of Jamal Williams.
I was just about to say I love Jamal Williams the person, but the fact that he's not in this room does improve it a good bit. I'm gonna
addition by subtraction.
All I'm saying is 1 and 2 is exactly the same as last year.
But
He's got all the talent in the world. We didn't trust him at all.
But you hated it.
I think
but
I'm gonna make use of the minuses and go with B minus because I love 1 and 2. I mean, I'm still a big believer in AK being one of these unicorn running backs with longevity. I mean, I'm not saying the end isn't near relative to his career. We're closer to the end than we are at the beginning, obviously. But I don't see, besides injury, straight up, to me, when healthy, I'm not saying AK is going to be as fast as he was his rookie year. He's going to have that he's going to be a sure bet to cross the goal line if he gets a breakaway run. It's not that. He's not a home run hitter. Maybe he's a triple hitter.
He's
nowadays.
not explosive anymore. That is a fact.
See, that's where I disagree. I don't think he's lost explosiveness. I think people get fooled by the way that he runs, and the way he runs is very decisive. We talked about the Cowboys game. People are like, oh, he looks slow on that touchdown. But because he wasn't running full speed on purpose. He didn't have to. He was running to go behind his blockers. That's just the way he does it.
The guy can't get the edge on a sweep, dude. He can't.
He did multiple times last year.
No.
It's not the way you see other guys get the edge. It doesn't look the same, but that's just because of the way he runs.
You can't get the edge without speed. You can't take your time to the edge.
He has the deceptive speed, is what I'm saying.
I
just sets up his blocks.
I don't know which place you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, look, I'm still a believer in AK's ability. More
scheme
so
matters a lot with AK this year.
Yeah, I mean,
scheme matters.
Well, scheme matters with any fucking offense.
Some guys can do anything. AK can no longer do anything as far as from a scheme standpoint.
I'm not saying he can do. Yeah, it's a lot to. If you find a running back that can do anything, then you're talking about Barry Sanders. But I'm saying AK can still do a lot more than we give him credit for, and so I like that about it. And again, I'm going B minus, going lower than Max, but I like AK. I have higher hopes, I guess, for Kendra after seeing what he did in the preseason. He looked like he could take a bump and keep going. Not talking about, I'm not saying that that's an after hours thing. I mean, like, he could take a hit and keep going.
I was wondering.
Maybe he does the other kind of bump. Anyway, whatever. But I love his size. I love his strength. He's got the juice. Now that you got this new added variable with Bayless Jones Jr., he's not going to look. He's one of these guys you can put in different positions, throw the ball out in space. He doesn't have to line up in the backfield.
He is the old satellite back.
You call it a Sean Payton Joker. There's potential there. And then Devin Neal, like we said, I think he's more of just your traditional, old school halfback. Like, just give him the rock, let him see the blocks. He's a guy you're gonna have to block for. He's not going to create his own space, but if he's got space, he can get you some good efficient 4-yard, 5-yard carries. Yeah. So,
but if everybody's healthy, this is a AK and Kendra show. right?
Correct.
Agree.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah.
So I think we just need to hope for health.
Yeah. So I like the B- on that.
Okay. All right, let's move on to wide receiver. Corey, you start us off.
Gosh, I gotta go C+ on this room. You can't deny the talent that's there with your top two. And some could argue that we have more talent on our top two with Olave and Shaheed than you do with Alvin and Kendre. But the problem is below those top two. And it's a complete crapshoot. I mean, Brandon Cooks is fine. He's got, years of experience. He's shown that he's probably still even got some speed to him. But there's nothing proven to me beyond and I don't even know that you can say Olave and Shaheed are, quote, proven. They've dealt with their own issues with injuries. They have proven speed. I mean, Shaheed's speed you can't deny. When he's healthy, he's taking the tops off of defenses, and you cannot stop that. He's like the wide receiver. It's like we're gonna line up and just throw it deep. If he gets a free release, you can't stop him from getting deep. Kind of like what the Ravens now, what the Titans used to do with Derrick Henry. It's like we're gonna put him in the backfield and run him. You're going to know we're running him. There's nothing you can do about it. We have a similar situation with Shaheed and his speed. Olave, same thing with route running. The question with them is health. It's not proven. And so, again, but they're your best two guys. You go below them. I already talked about Cooks. And beyond that, it's like, you brought up the guy from Denver. Everything else is a hope after that. So, that's why I want to go B on the strength of the top two guys, but I just can't because of how weak the remainder is. So.
Okay, I'll go ahead and go. I'm going C.
Yeah.
And the reason being Olave is a really good player, but hasn't stayed healthy. He's been fighting the concussions. It's well documented, the injury situation with him. Shaheed, kind of the same thing. He's gotten hurt as well. Brandon Cooks, I think is I think he's washed at this point.
It could be.
I think Vele, how do you say it? Vele, right?
I don't know, actually.
I think
I usually look these things up, but I did not for this.
Well, Devon Vele was brought in because A.T. Perry flamed out last year.
Yeah.
Because that was the big guy that we had, and then Bub Means obviously got hurt this year.
That was a big hurt.
To me, I think they're looking at Vele to step in and play a prominent role.
Yeah.
Be the big target. We don't know how much, and we'll get to it when we talk about the tight ends. We don't know how much we can depend on Juwan Johnson because, as history tells us, do not depend on him much. Past Vele, I'm very excited about Trey Palmer.
Okay.
Trey Palmer was a very enticing prospect when he was coming out a couple years ago. I think he just got caught in a numbers game in Tampa Bay. You still got Mike Evans. You got Chris Godwin. They got Emeka Ibuka this year. So he just got caught up in the numbers game, but the talent is there. And he looked like he was coming alive at the end of his rookie year. Last year wasn't that great for him. I don't know if you want to pull up the stats or not.
He didn't play much last year, I don't think. I don't know if he was injured or what, but he was definitely down the depth. Well, they drafted, what was it? The guy from Oregon. Washington. The other guy from Washington.
Tez.
Also,
Polk?
Last year. No.
You're right, though. They
Tez
did draft
something.
another one.
Can't think of it.
And he came alive at the end of last year too. So he's behind him. He's behind a bunch of top flight.
Yeah.
But he came alive in his rookie year, like you said.
What's his size?
He's listed at 6 feet 192. He's fast as hell.
Let's say he looked
very fast.
He ran like he was a shorter guy, but then when I looked at him, kind of
is it McMillan?
The one highlight.
I think so. Yeah.
And he became a deep threat, and they had the track guy that I think was an old LSU guy. Tampa had too.
Yeah,
that caught some deep balls last year.
So they
just loaded at the
keep him.
position.
Yeah.
Right. Why they drafted Ibuka, I think he's a great player, but man, how many receivers you paid Godwin, you paid Evans.
They needed help elsewhere.
Defense. But hey, I love it. That's great.
Well, here's the thing, though, with Trey Palmer, though. Palmer at the combine measured out at 6 feet 192, so the Saints have actually listed him at his combine height and weight. I'm sure they'll go ahead and add in the customary 1 inch and 5 pounds once he
He's going to be 6'2", 205.
He'll be 6'2", 210 in no time.
We got our big
and look, at the
guy.
combine, he ran a 4.33,
Shit.
1.51, 10-yard split. He was a 5-star prospect, was at LSU, ended up at Nebraska, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that's right. He was at LSU.
Yeah. So at Nebraska, 13 all Big Ten. His last year, he did 1,043 yards, scored 9 touchdowns. He's exciting. That one actually had me thinking about bumping it up a little bit, and this happened today. Mason Tipton looked good in the preseason. Last year made the team, didn't do shit in the regular season. We'll see how he does. Cooks, I think we're going to see Cooks for 1 year, and I think he's going to be a surprise cut next year.
Okay, sorry, I'll bring up that point now.
Yeah. So I think right now, I give it a C. I'm tempted to bump it up a little bit, but I'm going to hold steady at a C just because of combination of injuries and some of the younger guys who need to show that they can do it in this system. What you got?
We were talking about the most potential. This has the most potential to me to make a big leap because one, the base is very low. Okay, because Olave last year basically hurt the whole year. Had 2 good seasons, but didn't really have the breakout that we always hope. Shaheed, these flashes of brilliance, but always gets hurt or just goes quiet for multiple games. The why I say there's most upside is you have 4 receivers that are 25 or under. Or I guess Shaheed's 26 now, right?
Yeah. He actually might be 26.
So you've got...
They're still young. I mean,
all of them are young. Yeah. 3rd, 4th year across the board. Tipton didn't play last year.
He's 26.
So he's 26. Olave's 25, I think.
Vele's the old man in the
27, going to be 28.
I'm sorry, Cooks is.
But that was where I was getting to with Cooks. It's for sure a 1-year thing because there's no veteran leadership in there whatsoever. So I think they brought him in for that reason. I don't even think we see him all that much.
I don't think so.
I mean, he's familiar with the.
He's a great route
team.
runner.
Yeah.
He's survived in the league a decade. He's a legitimate NFL player. He's never a star.
He's your grizzled vet of the room.
Never a superstar, never really a star, but just always a really good player. And, as far as...
Always a really good number 2.
Right. Even though he was a 1 for some teams. Patriots,
he's
he was.
strikingly similar to Olave.
We tried damn hard to make him a 1.
We did. Yeah. So I think that's why he's here. So I agree with Max. I think he's a 1-year thing, and they've surrounded him. Trey Palmer's only 25, I believe. 24. So when you add all that up, there's a ton of potential in that room. Like those guys.
We got two second-year guys with a 4-year age gap. That's awesome.
It's pretty funny. So next year you're going to have all receivers that are younger than Vele.
I got to say it while we're on the topic. Vele, looking at the highlights, he looked like my guy.
Jeez, here we go. Is this the Bub Means curse?
No.
Is he immediately going down?
No, he looked like my other guy. He looked like the guy, Colston.
Oh, he looked like Colston. Yeah,
he had echoes of Colston.
Well, he's long and long arms.
The way he uses body to block out, he's not predicting that, but it was encouraging to see his highlight, which was his rookie year highlight. It wasn't like,
Yeah.
And a Sean Payton offense was not an easy offense to, as we've heard from other players that have exited a Sean Payton offense. It's a tough offense to get as a receiver because of the route tree.
Nick, what was your grade?
The grades, I'm going to say a C because, again, the first 2 guys get injured every year.
Yeah.
And after that, you don't have a guy other than Brandon Cooks who's had 500
That's what brings
yards.
It down for me is the injuries. I can't trust him yet.
Well, that's why.
But the upside,
I would give it a solid B if it wasn't
that
for
whole
the
room is
injuries.
healthy all year.
Great.
That could be the one you're like, oh crap, we have our receivers for the next 3 or 4
that
years.
room
We have weapons.
alone, and not that I'm one to ever talk in hyperbole, but that room alone could give you another couple wins if they stay healthy all year.
When we get a quarterback, yeah.
Look, here's the deal. If that room plays to its potential and these quarterbacks can't produce, that is a bad thing, man. Those quarterbacks they need to kick rocks at that point.
Well, yeah.
But you have any other thoughts on the wide receivers or?
Nope, that's it. I just think it's all potential. I don't think there's anything really proven there. I think it's got a very high ceiling and a very low floor.
Well, cool. So why don't you get us started with the tight ends? So let's well, hold on. Before you get started, let's go over who is on the roster.
Mickey Loomis.
There are 2 tight ends on the roster currently:
Yes.
Juwan Johnson and Moliki Mataval.
So are we going by that, or are we also crediting Mora?
Well, I mean, you have to go off of that because.
But I mean, Mora's on the pup. He's going to come back. So are we counting him in the room?
Do we know when he's coming back?
We don't know when he's
It's
coming
a 4
back.
game.
Yeah.
He's minimum 4 games.
Minimum
so.
4, right? But they haven't targeted
They
a
haven't
date from
said
what
But
I
I think it's important because he's the only thing saving me from a certain grade.
Well,
Put it that
don't
way.
forget about Taysom because he's technically listed as a tight end.
Are we
He's
counting him in
also-
the tight end room?
But who knows when
Yeah.
he's back?
We don't use a fullback in this.
It's an F, because of those things.
Yeah.
2 guys you don't even know when we're getting them back. We know Juwan Johnson by now. The great potential is what we should call him. I mean, he's 30 now, right?
Bro,
How long do you wait for the potential to really click in?
he's 28, but he's going to be 29.
He is the
pretty soon.
forever untapped potential.
Right. You're 29 this year. When? You've gotten paid like you were going to do it.
Like, your potential's untapped. Great. When will it be tapped?
I get it. You're very athletic. You used to be a receiver. You can make fantastic, like crazy circus
He's
catches.
gonna be-
But let's catch the 5-yard out. Let's do that.
He will be 29 for week 2.
There you
He's
go.
going to
So
be
he's
selling
29 years
Juwan
old.
Johnson's
Jesus
protein
Christ,
powder
man.
at age 49 saying, look, I still got untapped potential, man.
Right. So D-. I'll give it a D-. It's another terrible run. It's no depth. You're betting on a guy who's let you down every year when there were high expectations.
Every year.
So it's a D-. I'm
But he had
at
that one catch in the Tampa game.
It was a great catch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I'm going to go with your initial grade of an F because I hate Juwan Johnson with a passion.
You've never said that.
Juwan Johnson is to me.
Well, to be fair, he loved Juwan Johnson until he hated him.
He
Yeah,
was,
because he kept fucking.
he was your
fucking
hot
the city
take.
of New Orleans.
He was your hot take 2 years ago. He had big,
Who was that guy? Josh Hill that you were a fan of?
Fuck.
Okay, Juwan Johnson is to me as
Josh
Josh
Hill
Hill
is
is
the
to you.
worst.
That's fair.
God.
Uh,
That's a low bar.
Look, I love Foster Moreau. I think Foster Moreau was the best tight end on the team last year.
I think he's the best tight end we have right now.
He's
If
absolutely
he's
the best
healthy.
tight end
If you're
we
not
have right
counting
now.
Taysom.
Yeah, it's just weird because Taysom's just that jack of all. Well, I guess we have to list him as a tight end.
Taysom's just a much better player
Taysom's
than
a better
Foster Moreau.
player, but Foster Moreau is a better tight end.
Or we can make it easy and say, okay, we'll make Taysom the flex, grade the flex, when healthy, cool, move on.
Yeah,
But, you know.
Well, I'm looking at the practice squad, and there's 2 tight ends on the practice squad.
Well, Welch is in.
You got Jack Stoll and Trayton Welsh. Now, Trayton Welsh is the only tight end I've seen this preseason who gives me any hope that
played-
he could be anything.
I thought he'd make the first roster.
I thought he was going to make the team.
I
He's
thought it'd be
24
the
years
inverse,
old, 6'4",
you know.
240, from Wyoming, small school. Played very well.
He
this
played like he
preseason.
gave a shit, which was awesome. Like he played with effort.
Hey, look, he's only 24.
Put his
I know
fucking-
your guy Jacobson. I was telling you is 28.
tall guy, basketball background.
Right, but 28, and it's kind of like Juwan. He is what he is. Trayton Welsh is 24. There might be something there. He's shown glimpses. I know Underhill was like shocked that he got cut. We're all
Yeah.
shocked too. I mean, we thought he was going to make the team.
Especially with the tight end situation.
There's got to
with
be
that
something
third spot
about
sitting there.
Something
You
about
thought he'd
keeping a
make
draft pick on the active. I thought I saw some people trying to say that it's the way the collective bargaining is these days. It's a better value for you to keep your draft picks on the active versus practice squad. I don't see how that makes a difference. But maybe there's something there that explains why you keep the draft pick on the active versus
Were they talking
sending him to
about the
practice squad.
probability of them being signed elsewhere just because they're right out of the
Yeah.
draft and just been
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
everyone's
And
investigated
Maybe they
everybody?
knew
Yeah.
something about Mo, which is what he says.
I mean, he was a
goes by.
7th round pick, so he was basically
He was low, but
he was a hair away from being Trayton Welsh at that point.
the
So
only thing I can think is that they had some intel that somebody else coveted him.
I guess because that dude dropped the
'Cause
pass.
There's no other explanation for.
I saw him catch one and I saw him drop one.
There's no
in
other
the
explanation
preseason,
for
so.
keeping him on the roster. You want to keep, but anyway.
Look, you guys know you know my opinion on tight ends. I think having an elite tight end transforms an offense.
Of course,
We all wanted Brock Bowers a
Well,
year
we said it-
a year ago.
we said it. I think pre-draft. It's a cheat code.
It is, and
so-
we were all high on Tyler Warren this year.
yeah.
We don't have that guy on the team, and
Yeah.
hopefully one day we'll actually get him.
I mean, he's on my fantasy team, but he's not on.
Yeah. So what you got? What's your grade?
I'm going D-, and
you love the
I was.
minuses and the pluses. Can you just give me a fucking letter instead of all this?
I might at some point. Why don't you be patient? But no, I mean I was thinking F, but the only saving grace is the guys that are not healthy right now, and that's with Foster and Taysom if we're considering a tight end. But Foster to me legitimizes he's the only like legitimate tight end that's proven anything in this league so far, even more so than Juwan. I think at this point, with the amount of times that Juwan has either underachieved or not been healthy, when you compare Juwan and Foster's career, I think you got to tip the scales in Foster's direction at this point.
which tells you we
So-
don't have a starting tight end because Foster's
We
not
don't have a
starting tight end.
true. We don't have a modern day tight end one.
No,
if this
Foster
was-
should be a 2. He should not
He's
be
a 2.
If this was a tight end room in 1989, you'd be like, oh, we're good. But it's not. So, but the guys who are not on the active roster due to pup status are the only thing saving this for me from an F.
Okay. Well, why don't you take us to offensive line?
Yeah, that's a
So
tough.
we'll go ahead and we'll loop in the guards and the tackles together.
Yeah. I mean, the whole
center,
we got to
obviously,
put the
the whole
whole
thing
the
together,
whole
so.
line.
Give me a grade first of all. What you got for the group?
I'm gonna. You're gonna be happy about this, Max. No plus minus.
There you go.
B.
B.
Solid B.
Okay.
Wow.
And I gotta. It's not based on, them all working together, but the talent level. The talent is there.
Okay.
McCoy. The thing that keeps it in the B range for me are the three guys, middle and on the ends. Fuaga, McCoy, Banks. They are the ones who can keep this, have the ability, if they're all three of them are healthy, keep this from slipping into C minus range. Because you lose any one of them, then you're looking at a completely different story. We saw what Ruiz is when McCoy's not lined up next to him. It's almost like Ruiz needs McCoy in order to be anything, because without him, it was bad. We saw last year what happens when McCoy goes away. Penning looks like he can actually be something at guard.
Based on the 5 snaps he played.
Of course. But it does shape up to his tendencies. I mean, he's a great run blocker,
Is he back for week
big
1?
nasty guy.
He might be. They said he's
Might
out of
be.
the walking boot.
'Cause they
as of
said
today, so
4
he's
weeks
walking
initially.
around,
If we're taking it from preseason, we saw that Radins can actually be not bad as a backup left guard. Don't put him at tackle, but at guard he can be okay. And then you look. We just signed a UDFA UDFA made the first 53 and Torricelli Simpkins, and so
He looks really good.
that's
What's
a great.
What's the other guy I texted you about?
that's a great
He was
plus.
highly great. We got him on the practice
He's
squad.
on the practice squad.
Yeah.
Kitty.
Kilty.
We also just signed a waiver claim, which means
Guilty, yes.
tells you what the team thinks about him. But my guy from the Dogs last year is one of our best offensive linemen
Why
past
do we have
years.
to throw that little accent on there every time?
Dogs, because DAWGS is
George
we
is
say
an
dogs.
uneducated
It's like LSU fans. Go
They're
Tigers.
bad at school. Yeah, so is LSU.
There we go.
I mean, LSU
Bad at
says
school and at driving.
LSU says Tigers. We get to say dogs, so it's fine. But Xavier Truss out of Georgia, big ass guard, 6'7", 320. He's a good depth. The guy we traded for. I feel like
I'm shocked you actually knew his size. That's the first time you properly quoted
Georgia.
something like that.
Well, yeah, it's a dog. But anyway, the guy who's the guy from Dallas. I'll redeem myself here. Simeons. What do we? Can't think of his name. Starts with an S. The guy we traded for.
Yeah.
Felt like an NBA trade. Traded 2028 picks.
Asim Lizards.
Because we're out of picks.
Yeah.
We're running low on him.
Loomis
next
is
year,
like,
man.
hey, do we have any picks in?
Can we
2020?
trade 2040? Is that
Yeah.
available?
What picks do we have in the next presidential cycle?
We don't want those things.
But anyway, so I like this for we got talent. If they play to their potential, it's an A. But because we haven't seen that yet, it's a B. And there's depth.
I'll go ahead and go. So I'm giving it a C. And the reason I agree with what you just said, that if they play to their potential, it's an A.
Yeah.
To me, this group has the most potential out of any of them because it's more important than the wide receivers. And you've got 2 first-round players at both tackle spots.
Yeah.
You know, so you should have, in theory, your cornerstone.
Dude, you have 4
left tackle,
first rounders
your
and a
right
second
tackle.
rounder.
Yeah.
You've got a
And
second rounder at center, which is right now your best offensive lineman.
Right.
You've got a first rounder at both guard spots, and as of right now, they are the weak links on the offensive line. Penning hasn't been able to stay healthy. You know, yet again, he's I think it's a toe. It's not the same toe as his rookie year, but it's a toe injury. Cesar Ruiz is trash. You know, and the contract he got. The hate that Andrus Pete gets, that's the hate that Cesar Ruiz should get.
Well, he's making the same mistake, to me, watching him, the same mistakes that I thought Pete was making from the guard position are happening from
Pete was a good
Ruiz
guard
at the guard position.
He was not a top guard, you know, as his contract would tell you he was, but he was a good guard. But
Yeah.
we don't need to go down that
The
rabbit
Ruiz
hole.
Yeah, let's
contract
not-
is
let's
so
not do
far
that.
worse than the Pete contract.
Absolutely.
That's true.
Now, let's look at the depth. And this is why I have it at a C.
Okay.
I think the top line guys, if you told me, if you could guarantee me that, you know, from left to right, Banks, Penning, McCoy, Ruiz, Fuaga would stay healthy and play 17 games,
Yeah.
I would say it's a B plus. I'll even throw the plus in. It's a B plus with the potential to be an A
Bold
plus.
move.
Now, the fact that, McCoy's been hurt the last couple of years. Penning has his injury history. Ruiz never gets hurt. He's just not good.
He was hurt last year, huh?
He missed games. He missed games the last 2 years, I think.
Yeah, he doesn't miss
Not a
many,
lot.
though.
Yeah,
he
not a lot.
regenerates like Wolverine. He comes back pretty quick.
Funny because he went to Michigan.
But here's the deal, though. Like, the backups, we don't know anything about them.
We don't know anything about him. Like
They dumped basically the whole room that they went to camp with, the backups, with the exception of Simpkins, who's an undrafted
And
free agent
Radens.
rookie, who looked fantastic, in the preseason. But Fortner, who came over from Jacksonville, I didn't watch him play any. I have no idea if he's good or
By
not.
all accounts, it was
He's
the word on the street was he was going to get cut.
Word on the street is, it was a player getting cut for a player getting cut.
Right.
Saunders for him. Yeah, he's okay, but he just seems like a guy he's just a guy.
Jack.
It's kind of like Radens. Radens, he started 30, 40 games, whatever, in a couple of years, was never really good. He just started games.
Yeah.
So the depth is very unknown at this point. I don't know if these guys are good. So
In the
I have to go
NFL,
and see.
it's not invaluable. It's not valuable to be just a guy. Like sometimes you need just guys on
Absolutely. You
on,
need those
on
guys
offensive
on the
line. I mean, we saw that what Throckmorton, all those dudes who just came in that were completely random, who just kind of held their own and didn't allow things to get that much worse. And I think that's all you're looking for out of your backups. You want a guy that's going to come in. And now look, I think Saints fans, half of the Saints fans right now, it's like, man, we let this backup in and he just got Spencer Rattler's head knocked off. Half the fan base would be like, let's go, bring in Chuck. But so it's not the same as if Breeze was back there, but it's still like, do we want to win games or not? Some people are like, give me yards, we don't want to win games. But that's bullshit, right? Like, Kellen Moore's going to coach to win, so you want guys who can hold their own. I don't know. I think we have that, but
Here's the deal, though.
it's not
Before we
proven.
get too far into, sacks are a QB stat. Like, there's
Yes.
a reason, like, Breeze could be surrounded by garbage, and he still wasn't getting
You're-
sacked.
It's not a mistake that the greatest quarterbacks of all time did not get sacked, other than Aaron Rodgers.
I think your offensive line has to be at a certain requisite level to get there. Like, I'm not.
No, they need to have talent. But my point
Right.
is, like,
'Cause,
we
like, the
can't
Texans,
focus
like,
on sacks and
The
say,
David
well, that's the
Carr,
offensive
when
line.
David
What
Carr
we're
took
saying
like
is-
60 sacks in a season, that wasn't all QB.
David
right?
Carr?
Was it David?
David
Yeah,
was
Not Derek,
Texans.
but like
Right,
when
his
he was
brother.
the first round
Yeah.
pick, and he took like.
But it's
maybe
not
like
the offensive
70.
line's job. Two things. It's not the offensive line's job to keep the defensive line off of you for 5.5 seconds. The ball's got to come out.
Put it this way: it's a both sack.
Let me remind you of the pre-draft video that we discussed when we were talking about Jalen Walker versus our first-round pick, Kelvin Banks.
You're right. Yeah.
And
And,
Kelvin Banks kept the quarterback
That was
clean.
that was a Quinn. That was a Quinn Ewers sack. That was a Quinn Ewers.
That was a
sack.
Quinn Ewers sack.
Yeah.
So
The other thing is when QBs fade in the pocket, they drop back,
They
they
just keep going,
backpedal,
keep
and
going.
you're out
Yeah.
of position,
Yeah.
and your offensive line is blocking exactly the way they're supposed to, and you run yourself into trouble. That's a thing. That's Caleb Williams all day.
I think we can call that the Shedeur-Sanders sack.
And
The
that-
same thing,
the
same type
Shedeur-
of stuff.
Shedeur.
And I hate to say it, to a much lower degree, Shuck does it a lot.
Shuck was doing
He drops out of it,
Yeah.
and he gets the offensive line in bad situations. So I agree with Max. I think it's not completely. You have to be a competent offensive line to do your job, right? No doubt about it. But if you're expecting the offensive line to perform miracles so your shitty quarterback can get the ball out, that's just not.
Put it this way: if you're sacked after the 3-second mark,
It's on you.
100% on
Right.
you.
The ball's got to come
You know?
out of bounds, if nothing else. It needs to be out of
on you.
bounds.
2.5. If you're sacked before the 2-second mark, that's offensive line. 2.5. There's some gray area.
Back to my favorite, Loomis. On this unit, there's so much draft capital in this.
I'll be back.
There's so much draft capital. We've got 4 of our own first-round picks on
Yeah.
this line. A second-round pick. No depth. This is a draft situation right here.
I would say it's unproven depth right now, because I think we
So there's no depth.
Right. So
It's not depth
you've
until it's
got undrafted free agents and guys we just got off waivers as our depth. And agreed, maybe they turn out to be great, but
Yeah.
the statistics aren't in our favor, probably. So
I think we have more talent on
This
the
is-
backup than last year, but it's not
maybe it's unknown.
It's unknown. Corey. I know we have a Georgia Bulldog.
No,
we don't
just
know
dog.
shit about
You
him
say-
until.
If you're saying bull, it's bulldog.
No,
right?
I'm saying that to fuck
Dog.
with you.
But you
It's just
invest.
stupid either way.
Look, you invest in a McCoy, you invest in a Penning, you invest in a Fuaga, a Ruiz. They've all been around for multiple years now, other than Fuaga, right? And I felt Fuaga held his own last year. I
he
dug
absolutely
deeper on
did.
it in the offseason, though, and his numbers weren't great when he was ranked out. They were way worse than I thought because I never felt he was the problem.
What kind of numbers? Like PFF numbers or pressures?
Mostly. And well, pressures too. That was all in what the stuff I was reading, and that it was mostly pass blocking was kind of like average. He wasn't terrible.
Even taking it with a grain of salt, it was less than what? Because I mean, PFF, you got to.
He was middle of the pack.
Yeah. And I felt he was better than that, and just from the eye test.
We all did.
So I'm not down on him in any way, shape, or form. But
I think he's back on his natural side.
Yeah. So let's see what happens there. But out of that unit, none of them have made a Pro Bowl outright. McCoy's been a replacement twice,
right,
which is great. 1 year he only played 9 games and got a replacement Pro Bowl spot. So that
Tyler Huntley,
right? So. I mean, that's a huge miss for all that we're committing here.
No, we should be one of the best offensive lines.
Should be,
because we should be the best offensive line in the league based on the capital that is
killing people.
I agree with Loomis in this. Invest in the line, 100%.
Yeah.
But we haven't hit. We've messed up.
Well, time out. We did hit on Ramchak. We just unfortunately his legs gave out.
Also, that's now 9 years ago.
A lot of it's been injuries. I mean, because it's kind of like. Not to bring up the Pelicans, but
it's 8 years ago, and he basically flamed out 6.5 years.
The Pelicans have a starting 5, and there was stats about how many games that the starting 5 actually play together. I would like to see the stats on how many games our top 5 offensive linemen actually played together the entire time as intended. It's probably not many. That's a big deal with offensive
I can tell you the teams that are in the playoffs and have the best records, it's high.
Yeah. I mean,
what is your letter grade?
I'm going to say C also and I feel like that's kind of generous because McCoy's injury prone now. If we're going to talk shit about the other guys, we have to talk about McCoy. It's 2 years in a row missing a bunch of games.
Yeah.
At a position that doesn't generally miss a ton of games. So you have to talk about that. We know Penning's injury prone.
Yep.
Ruiz is not good. I think we're seeing that. And then we're betting on a rookie to be a superstar and a second-year player to elevate. That's where we're at today.
Spot he didn't play last year.
Right. But natural spot. But like everything points to Banks and Fuaga being totally good, but we haven't done that yet. So potential, yes.
They seem like kind of like when a parent is disappointed at a kid, like you're too old for me to have to be having this conversation with you.
That's true.
It's kind of like they're too old for us to be saying they have to prove something to us.
I mean, McCoy, Penning, Ruiz
Banks,
for
not
sure.
Banks, but right? But it's like, what the fuck, kids? Like we've given you so many chances.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
we just
that
haven't
for me.
seen it. They keep getting hurt, and now we brought in two young guys who look, if they become Pro Bowl caliber tackles, changes the narrative a lot.
I would love to be in a room when someone's yelling at Penning. It's just
I would try to be in a room where someone's yelling at Ruiz.
Like being an offensive line coach must be one of the funniest things in football.
To be fair, we drafted him because he was a dancer.
You guys got to get better.
That's another overdraft, big time.
What,
Cesar
Penning?
Ruiz was not projected in the top 45, and we took him, I think, at 24.
That's another thing. We keep saying they're first round picks, they're whatever, but whenever
Ruiz is the first round pick,
it's like we're using whatever we want to as our advantage. Like we'll say they're first round picks, they should be better, but no one's talking about like. But should they have been first-round picks?
I am.
Did we reach?
I blame Loomis the whole time.
That's never mentioned when we say we have so many first-round picks on the line.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I will say this though. I have reason for optimism because Kelvin Banks looks fucking phenomenal, and then
he looks
Horace
awesome.
Ellie Simpkins looks fucking phenomenal.
Did I tell you about that time he owned Jalen Walker in the Texas game?
No, you didn't.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was.
Well, you know what would make a big statement for me for Kellen Moore too is if Simpkins is the real deal and he gives him Ruiz's job. That would make me so happy.
I said that like 2 episodes ago.
I know.
That would be amazing.
But you need the coach to have the balls to do it too.
I think,
and that's the thing.
I think the moves that they're all minor.
This team got young quick on the cuts, man. You notice it now?
The moves that Kellen's been making.
I think he might do it.
I think he's showing that he's going to make his moves. I think if he was going with Loomis or now there's debate of like is Shuck Kellen's guy or Loomis's guy, but by going with Rattler, it's kind of like
Loomis always does what the coach wants him to do.
Typically,
that's Kellen Moore's guy.
So
there's none of this, any of this narrative floating around.
But he's making the calls for wins.
Yeah,
which is
All right, Nick, why don't you talk to us about defensive line? So for our purposes, we're going to include defensive tackles
and pass rushers.
I was thinking edge could be separate, but do you guys want to loop it together?
I think we should because I think
no.
that's
That's fair. Let's go ahead and loop it together. We'll do defensive line / edge.
Y'all kick it off. This is where I take my piss breaks. You want to do it awkwardly at the end.
Why don't you go ahead and turn the
I look
air-
at D-line,
the
even the pass
okay.
rush,
It's hot.
as a unit, so I think we should talk about them the same.
Okay, that's fine.
Obviously, complete change of scheme, so that's all new for us. The trade, getting, switching out the defensive tackles, getting rid of Saunders. I think all those were good moves for this scheme. Ridgway's out for the year, though, so we lost some depth. Right, he's out for the year? Was it
I
IR?
believe I'll look it up and see. Just keep going.
So we lost a little depth at that position, which is concerning because I think, how old's Gotcha? 30?
Yeah.
I think he's 30. So you got to take 9th or 10th year in the league. Got to take that into account. Defensive
9th
end.
year. Yeah, he's 30.
30. Okay. So,
Shepard's 31.
yeah. So I think y'all are going to be a little more optimistic about the unit than me. I feel like it's similar to last year. I don't think we made any drastic moves. I think we made the moves to be able to run the 3-4. And I think Gotcha's a good player. Bringing Chase Young back, I agreed with, as you know, because he didn't get top money. And I think someone who is at least an absolute bona fide starter. Maybe he's not a star. Maybe he'll never be the star he was supposed to be. But like for the price we paid for him, I think that was a great move too. I liked bringing back Chase Young. Granderson, I think, is that sneaky player that's better than everyone thinks. But he was there last year too, and we were terrible. So what do I look for out of him? We've got to find a way to stop the run because last year that was pretty terrible. And who's going to be our big pass rusher? Who's our 10-sack guy on this team?
I mean, it's either Granderson or Chase Young or Cam.
Or maybe Brzee if he gets in the opportunity to pass rush a little bit.
That would be awesome to see him do it.
He had 7 last year. Maybe he could be that guy. So for me, this is also a C. With if Brzee becomes a star, could elevate it. I think Chase Young, a second year off the neck surgery, makes the potential of him having a better year. Maybe he gets home a little bit more than he did last year. I think that's a possibility. I think we know what Granderson is, and it's just a really solid player and not a star, but really solid pretty much across the board. Gotcha is good. So, but I don't know that we have a superstar.
We don't.
So you see the best defensive lines, they all have a star. And unless Brzee becomes that, I don't think any of the other guys are going to be that. So I'm going to go with a C. If he becomes a superstar this year and comes out and has 11 sacks and is better against the run than he's been his first couple of years, then fantastic. But right now, a C.
Yeah, look, that's exactly what I have. When I had to split up between defensive line and edge, I had a C for each of them. So let's go ahead and combine it, and we'll put a C. I agree with pretty much everything you said about it. I will say Godshaw to me is a massive upgrade as a defensive tackle. You know, he's an animal. Like the dude is just King Kong in pads. Brzee, I would hope, steps up this year. You know, he's gotten better at rushing the passer both years. You know, hopefully this year he can crack double digits. I agree with everything you said about Granderson. Granderson at this point, he's just a rock solid contributor. I don't want to call him just a guy, you know, like we were talking about in one of the other positions. Offensive line, you know, where we're saying you need those guys. You need the guys like Granderson. You know, the guys who I think he's got like 23 career sacks, something like that in like 5 years. You know, he doesn't get a lot of them. He's not a superstar. He's got a decent contract, but he's just one of those. He should be your first off the bench guy. You know, Chase
His
Young.
contract now is
That was fine. It's
pretty
really,
cheap.
It's reasonable, yeah.
We did get to sign him to that contract when we did.
Yeah. Chase Young should be an absolute superstar, and it's one of the most frustrating things in the world. If you would have told me, 5 years ago or whatever it was when Chase Young was drafted that, hey, the Saints are going to have him in year 4, I would be like, oh, my God. He's going to be a 15-sack guy. We must have traded – a first-round pick, 2 first-round picks.
What did we give up to get him?
What did we give up to get him? This dude's
Knowing Loomis,
perennial Pro Bowler, whatever, and he has not been that. He's basically like late career. He's like Jadeveon Clowney. He's always going to have a job because he was a highly drafted, absolute freak show who people
and
are
he's
going to look
good.
at. And he's good, but he's never going to be great. I don't think he's
the
ever
guy
going to be great.
that gets hired at a professional corporate job because of the way he looks and his suits and all that stuff. It's like the guy walks.
What do you know about that?
Doing pretty well, Max. No, I'm kidding.
Granderson, real quick, is 5.5, 8.5, 5.5 the last 3 years. So he's like he's a 6-7 sack guy.
Yeah,
I think that's what. We know.
Chase Young, he's one of those guys where when he walks through the door, if you're a football guy,
Look, we've told a story when
like,
you and
oh
I
my
were
God.
at the Pelicans game, and we saw him court level
I said
with
it. Yeah.
us.
No, we thought he was standing on the second row.
We thought he
But
was, and he wasn't. He's massive.
So real quick on the backs of that about Chase Young, 5.5 sacks last year, was one of the leaders in pressures.
I was going to say he had the
Almost
hiest.
sacks.
If there was a grade for almost, he would
Right.
have had the highest almost grades.
And that's what I was saying. And what coming off a neck surgery.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
No, look.
is there a path there to 9 to 11 sacks?
Absolutely.
I think there is.
There's absolutely a
is,
path, and if you take as much weight in the coaching as has been reported about Grantham, and there was no one there to, especially
Grantham is a football coaching terrorist.
right, apparently, and so I mean I believe that, but based on what we're hearing,
Isn't
as
he
well,
one of your former dogs?
you gotta like,
No, I'm not going
you know how you kind of give me shit about my impressions, you gotta like say dogs, like a little
It's
more
fucking
subtle.
terrible either way. When I
more
do it,
subtle.
you do it, it's awful.
Well, it's not awful when I do it.
It's terrible when you do it.
Mine's authentic because I went there for college.
It's still terrible.
Debatable,
Right.
but
Well, Grantham
anyway.
is a former Georgia guy.
He was, and he stayed there too long. Mark Richt did not fire him soon enough, and he was our DC, and he was our defensive coordinator not long after we had Moreno and AJ Green and Stafford and all those guys. I don't think he wasn't the DC when we had them, but we had really good offensive guys, and he was the Achilles heel of our team. Anyway, talk about tangents.
Give me your grade first.
We're on assistant coaches now, guys.
Yeah.
Give me your grade.
We're on D-line.
Jesus Christ. Were you the one that's drinking over here?
What?
Drinking double Stellas.
What are we talking about again?
No,
The Saints.
No, how did you break down the position? I know we're talking about just edge.
I know you were
No,
taking a
D-line.
pee break.
The whole D line.
Yes.
Okay, because I didn't hear y'all talk about the interior guys
We
at
did.
all. That's why I was.
We did.
Anyway, the whole D line, interior plus edge.
You weren't paying attention. Got it.
Well, I was taking a piss. I'm gonna go. B minus.
Wow.
Corey likes him.
No, I do. I mean, I like
Okay.
Granderson a
That's
lot.
fair.
I think. I mean, again, it's preseason, but he looked specifically more all over the place in a good way.
Do you agree we don't have a star in the D line?
Yeah, of course.
Just curious.
I don't think you need a star to get a B minus.
No, I don't either. I'm
If
just
we,
asking.
If we did, no, we have a potential star in Chase Young.
I think Brzez's a
But-
potential star.
Brzee could be a potential star.
I
How
agree
old's
that
Brzee?
Brzee
I think Godshaw is going to bring a huge difference to what we see out of this defensive line. Not to mention the fact that it's a whole different scheme with Staley, but Godshaw's. We did not have a guy like that last year.
No, we didn't.
We point blank did not. And even if we were running a 4-3, and that guy eats up space. He's a mean dude. He's back in his hometown. If you give props for that kind of stuff, but he's exactly what we needed if we're looking to do more run stopping. And the fact that you can play him and then Brzee and Shepard at the same time, let Brzee and Shepard just kind of be a little bit more free. Last year, if you look at it in a 4-3, Brzee and Shepard had to be if they were on the field at the same time, they had to be the guy stopping the run. Now they get to be on the field at the same time and have somebody else eating up 2 blocks, eating up double teams. That's a huge advantage right off the bat. And you haven't even started talking about Granderson and Young on the other sides.
The more I think about it, Brzee seems to be a perfect 3-4 end.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
Because he struggled
He's
at
a 3-4
DT.
left end.
Yeah. Like the more you think about it and the way
Right.
he's played his first 2 years, that's like a perfect spot for him.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think
agree.
so. And again, it's preseason, but from what I saw, when I was really happy they put the ones in, even for the limited amount of time they did against Denver. Not to say that Denver's offensive line was the best, but they did allow, I think, the fewest sacks in the NFL last year. And to see the way that our guys, our ones, played against them was really encouraging. To see Granderson actually, because I was, if we talked about it right after we hired Staley, I was really skeptical about if we were going to say that our 3-4 outside linebackers were going to be Young and Granderson, I was worried about that because of the coverage aspect. But Granderson looked pretty comfortable dropping back there. I'm not saying he was running 7 for 7 with any running backs.
He's athletic, though.
But when he was back like a couple of times, he had a PBU in the Broncos game.
You know what, though? I forgot to mention, I think you started talking right when you sat back on your PP break. Jonathan
I didn't
Bullard
call it that.
is on the team. He's
Yep.
been around the league for a little bit.
Kept him on the active.
Christian Boyd, who I'm
Great
high
depth,
on.
yeah.
You know, he is. This is year 2 for him. I think this is a perfect spot for him in the Godshaw role. And Christian Boyd had 2 sacks in the preseason. You know, he flashed a little bit. And then we didn't even mention the 3rd-round pick,
Broughton.
Vernon Broughton.
Yep.
So,
He-
I mean,
he's-
that's a high pick.
he
That's
looks
somebody, you know, when
Should
you're
be a
picking in the top
rotational
10, your
player.
3rd-round pick should be a key. He looked damn good in the 3rd preseason game.
He did.
So, look, 6'5", 311.
Yeah.
We didn't even mention him. So,
And
there's some.
he's got his college coach as his position coach now.
It's
which is awesome.
another room we're just talking about
There's
potential and no injuries, right? That's what we're talking about again.
Chris Rump. That's another
Yeah.
one. He's a veteran.
He had a sack in the
then-
preseason.
They're strong enough position group to where a guy like Fidel Diggs is on your practice squad, you know, and he
Yeah.
flashed in preseason. So
This group's got potential.
this group, I feel like
better about this group.
it's more justified to talk about potential with this group because they have not been together nearly as long as our
And it's a whole new scheme.
disappointing kids, the offensive line.
Right, and it's also a new scheme. Like
Like-
this group is at a new school.
This group
we can't get on
exactly.
them yet.
I was just gonna
Yeah.
say it. Like they're in like first grade, like they had kindergarten, you know, whatever.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
To go on, but it's
Okay.
okay. But yeah, they have the potential to wreck some shit this year.
I'm excited about the future when I look at the defensive line.
Yeah.
Because there are pieces there where I'm like, you know what, I could see that person eventually rounding the corner, turning into a key piece that gets a second contract, you know, with the team.
I think one guarantee with this group, and
I do agree with Nick, though. I think Brzee is the one with the most superstar potential.
someone out of all these guys we've talked about is going to surprise in a good way this year. Someone's going to pop.
Yeah.
And if they don't, then it's probably going to be a pretty bad defense.
All right, let's hop over to linebacker. Corey, why don't you start us off?
All right. So we're obviously just talking about the 2 interior guys, not because we already covered the edges. You know,
Well, we'll go ahead and lay it out. For this purpose, we're talking about DeMario, Jalen Ford, Stallbird, Stutzman, Warner.
yeah.
Give me a
I
grade.
got to go B+ on the strength of DeMario and Warner. And then the
I think you
depth.
stole my thunder here.
The
there, Corey.
depth, the depth has proven to be solid behind them. We were talking last year about Nephi Sewell being
He's on the practice squad.
one of the next guys up, and
Yeah.
now he's practice squad. Jalen Ford has shown
He played
that
great.
He's a second-year guy. He looks
that we
good.
drafted him for a reason.
Well, bear in mind, the former Texas coach that we have also
Bo
coached Jalen Ford.
Yeah, and so you got to like what you see out of these guys. Stallbird that guy had some pop when he came in through some
Man, he looked
blitzes.
awesome.
And
He looks like he's
then-
going to be a terror on special teams.
And then we
at the
drafted
least.
I would dare anyone to find a bigger football guy than Stutzman that we drafted this year. He just looks awesome.
Do you say that because he's white?
It-
Is he a
well,
first in,
it's just-
last out,
it's-
lunch pail
it's
kind
the
of
whole
guy?
It's the whole aura that he is that what the kids
the
call
mustache,
it?
right?
AURA.
It's the
It's
mustache,
everything. It's
yeah.
everything. He's a
The
white.
what do we call it? The neck roll. He's got the
He's
neck
like
roll
one of those
going.
throwback white linebackers from the '80s who looks
There
like
it
he's
is.
50, who's only 22, and he's got the
Oklahoma.
neck roll.
He's Brian
got the-
Bosworth reincarnated.
He's got the mustache.
We need some
Minus the
steroids.
steroids.
He's even admitted it on his Instagram when he got drafted. He's like, he drafted the white guy with the juice. Like,
No.
What did he say?
He said, "I'm like communion. I'm the cracker that's got
Cracker
the
that's
juice."
got the juice. He said cracker. So
Yeah.
like he gets it.
He's a character,
you know,
man.
He gets his look, whatever. So but that would all be for nothing if he didn't actually play well, and he plays well. So,
So you're saying B+.
saying B+.
You know what? I have B. I wrote down B. I think DeMario, we don't need to say anything that hasn't been said about DeMario.
Yeah.
One of the best Saints ever. He's fucking fantastic. Hopefully he gets into the Hall of Fame one day. Pete Werner is a damn good player. I think the Saints
Sure
did
tackler.
very well preemptively giving him that contract last year before the season started and, not giving it to your boy, Mr. Gay, good old Willie Gay, who was here for a cup of coffee.
What could have been?
Yeah. So Stallbird, I was very high on him after watching him in the first couple of preseason games. He just looks like a heat-seeking missile out there.
Yeah.
I think at the very least, this dude is a long-term special team player, maybe like a successor to JT Gray type.
Could be. I mean, he's former safety.
Yeah, look, he's been bouncing back and forth between safety and linebacker.
Gives you
they actually
flexibility.
moved him to safety a little bit last or maybe it was this offseason, and he's kind of going back and forth.
Okay.
He's kind of a hybrid player.
Yeah.
Got good speed. I think he was actually at Nebraska for a little bit and then transferred to...
He's the Jonathan Abram replacement. Is really what he could do. And play
Except
both
he's
roles.
faster. Which
Right.
Is kind of
Well,
crazy.
I'm just saying
Yeah,
the
but-
role. Like
yeah.
that kind of...
He just
Play
looks
linebacker
like
on third down if you want him to come up. 'Cause,
Right,
You
right.
know what I mean?
Thumper.
Yeah.
No, that's a really good comparison because that makes a lot of sense. I love having that versatility where he can bounce him back and forth between linebacker and safety. Jalen Ford, agree with Nick completely. You've been very high on him this preseason. He's looked awesome. He looks the part. Like you look at Jalen Ford,
Prototypical.
he just has that.
Dude, that pick where he drops back in, straight into the route, diagnosed it, drops into that slant, picks it up. I mean,
skill and instinct in the same play.
yeah.
And look, we talked about it with Chase Young. I guess it's not the most important thing, but to me, look, if you look the part,
Yeah.
you get you got a few style points.
Get a head
and
start.
Jalen Ford looks the part. Like you look at him, he looks like he's fast. He just looks like he's athletic.
I was hopeful last year when we drafted him, and then when he got hurt, I was kind of pissed.
No,
But,
I think he's going to
know,
be good. And then Stutzman, love everything about him. Just love his personality. He kind of has. He has like the future leader of the linebacker room kind of look about him, and like a team captain. He just has that kind of look about him, just the way he carries himself. And
the
by
aura.
all accounts, he's lived up to the hype in the preseason and in training camp.
Where's the damn neck roll? Come on, let's go.
Yeah, well, we should get you one for the helmet.
Keep adding accessories.
But look, DeMarco Jackson got released. He was he had a solid preseason as well.
I liked him too. The fact that
Somebody picked him up, so
Yeah.
he's not going to make it to the practice squad. But look, I feel way better about linebacker now than I did back in April.
I
Yeah,
do too.
I agree.
I think it was the most impressive group of the preseason for me.
Yeah,
And I don't
what's,
think it was
what's your
close.
letter grade?
I had B+ also. I have it as my highest room. And last year, I probably had it pretty low from the
think we
depth
all did.
standpoint.
Well, you had 3 of them last year.
I think
Different scheme.
Jalen Ford, it's just preseason, but I always talk about this and listening to last year's episode where I was talking about the way people run. Like when you just watch when you watch football players.
The eye test.
And you
I
just
gotcha.
see like some guys just look faster. They might not be, but it's just decisive. It's instinctual. It's like automatic. And everything he does looks like intentional.
There was a good play that was an expose of that kind of mentality, which you're talking about, which is why it's good that he would fit in. But it was DeMario and Warner on the field. And the comment on Twitter was like, watch this. DeMario doesn't make the tackle, but just watch him on this play. And DeMario pursued to the far edge.
Yeah.
He didn't touch the ball carrier, but he took 2 blockers with him, and Warner filled in the gap.
Came right behind.
And made the tackle. So the fact that you could say that Ford has that same type of...
It's what it looks like. Now,
yeah.
again, he wasn't playing against
Right,
This
but-
isn't real until it's real. But to see him coming off last year with the injury and kind of get a little bit forgotten,
Yeah.
and to come into this camp and to me, he blew the doors off more than Stutzman, more than Stallbird looked great. There's no doubt about it. But I think he's more of a hybrid than he is a true like DeMario potential replacement. That's my
Stallbird's
opinion.
definitely more of a hybrid. Yeah.
Right. So, you see that, then you look, okay, well, they're all young. I get it. Stutzman, I want to see him in real play because I want to see him sideline to sideline against ones. I want to see that. He doesn't look – he looks like a thumper. He gets downhill very good. Can he get sideline to sideline in the modern NFL? That's what I want
What's
to
his
see.
lateral
Right.
range? Yeah.
Because it didn't look
Yeah.
to me
Yeah.
like a strong suit. Not that he can't.
Yeah.
But like
Ran
y'all
a
said,
4.52 with a 1.55 split.
I know,
30
but
points.
I'm
game
talking
speed.
eye test
Game
again.
speed,
yeah.
I'm just talking eye.
Well, when you
what I'm watching.
compare, because you compare it to what we have now, and you look at DeMario and Warner, there's never any worry.
They're
maybe
so
DeMario
athletic.
in
Yeah.
like the last year, but really with Warner though, you don't worry about it. You're like if they're running a stretch play,
He's
if he-
getting there.
If he's unblocked,
Yeah,
it's gone.
it's done. Like Stutzman reminds me of the old like Chris Spielman, Zach Thomas. You know what I mean? Like
He's not as compact as Zach Thomas.
He's more athletic than that.
he might be, but so is the whole NFL. it's that style of play. It's that like downhill.
I think it's the
You know,
mustache.
not the Ray Lewis sideline to sideline, like those guys that just, man, they're coming to knock your head off. That's what he looks like, which is great, and it may translate just fine. But the one that blew me away for that position was Ford in the preseason. So for me, it's the depth that's come in. We cut good players, and there's nowhere else on the team where we're saying
Cut my guy from Rutgers, Tyrone Powell. I don't even think he
we
made the
cut
practice
good
squad.
players, Corey. Also Powell. But
Also,
when you're cutting Sewell, who I think we had high stock in, you cut Jackson,
DeMarco.
right? He gets signed instantly. I think we are not cutting good players that went to other teams in any other spot on the team. I feel like this made a big jump this year, and so for me, B+.
Okay. Well, go ahead and take us with cornerback.
Corner or secondary? What are we doing? Separating them? I don't care. I'm just asking.
I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I think we'll go quick hitters on corner and safeties. I think you got to separate them.
Yeah, I think so too.
Corner, I have at a D.
Ooh. Okay.
The reason, I don't think Yadam's a starter in the league. Okay, that's just me. I think he is a perfect 3. Like the perfect guy who can play outside for a few games.
I'd say,
I just
real quick, are we putting Alante and Ugo in corners or safeties? Because they're really a star. It's kind of
Why don't we package it all together?
Let's package it.
Let's say secondary.
So what's your
Okay.
grade if it's secondary?
If it's secondary, I'm going to say a C-.
Okay.
I think the safeties and the players you're exactly referencing elevate that room.
Yeah.
I think the corners are a big concern for me. We are counting on Kool-Aid being a stud.
You said C-?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I think Kool-Aid could be a stud? Absolutely. Has Kool-Aid been a stud yet? No. He's been good.
Solid, but
Right. He had some good plays like
Yeah.
solid rookie season. Just so. But now he's the 1. He went from the 3 to the 1 overnight. And I didn't see 1 last year, but it could be in there. And he went to a good school, played against great schools, has talent. Was a
Saban was
first.
still there before you left.
Yep.
So that,
Not that Alabama has the best track record with corners, but still, he held up against almost anyone he faced in college and faced really good teams. So I'm optimistic on him, but I don't think you can say he's even a top 20 number 1 corner in the league.
God forbid we have a theme going, but dare I say potential?
Potential. It's potential again. And Yadam's not a 2 in this league. He's not. Every number 2 corner in the league probably, though maybe there's a couple exceptions, has a better number 2 corner than Isaac Yadam. So for me, corner's a big worry. Safety and star, I really like what we have there.
Yeah.
I think Reed is an upgrade from Honey Badger. Leadership too.
Yeah.
I think he's the whole package. In his prime, 28, 29, I don't remember exactly. We've all been screaming for Alante to be in a hybrid role of let's get him downhill, let's get him in the slot when we need it, let's do everything. Perfect for Alante. I think he thrives. I think for me, he's probably the MVP of the defense this year for me.
It should be, because he's going to be in a position to
Make
all
plays
the plays
everywhere.
The Jalen Ramsey.
I was just talking to
well,
Max
just like
the
we
other
said
day.
that-
I really like Amadi. Amadi needs to be on the field.
Yeah.
I don't know what that looks like. Max doesn't
Look.
like him as much as me.
When he was
I
in
love
with the
him on
ones,
special teams.
when Bo Nix was in there with Denver, he was all over the place.
Yeah.
He looked good.
I think he's got to be unlocked. I don't know what it is. He looks
He's
like
fast.
he looks like a player.
He seems to be. It seems as though, based
Another
on the
28-year-old from Oregon.
the
you
preseason
go.
game, he's the backup star. 'Cause that's where he was playing against Denver
Yeah.
when the ones were in.
Yeah.
He
See,
looked good.
unfortunately, Alante's there, but
Right.
he looks like a guy who's going to make plays. He just
They're going to run dime packages enough to where he'll be on the
get
field.
them both in there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I worry about corner. I like what we got going on in safety and star. That's why I give it a C-. If I had to split them, I'm giving the safeties probably like a B minus, and I'm giving the corners a D+.
Yeah.
Going in the season.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I had too. I'm going to give the group a C. I had corner at D, and I had safety at B.
Yeah.
You know, look, the encouraging thing is we were very down on the safeties last year. You know, during the season, like we were like, this is the – actually going into the season, we said this is the worst spot on the defense. and this is when we were higher on the defense, obviously, than we are this year going into
But
it.
your best guy was someone who retired the next year.
Yeah, but as Nick said, Justin Reed is I think he's a massive upgrade over the Honey Badger at this point. Blackman, Blackman looked.
Yeah,
Could be a steal.
He's been smoking it in the practices. You hear about every practice. He had an interception in like 4 straight practices. So I think Blackman's a big pickup. I'm looking at the guys. So there's only 3 guys listed at safety on the Saints roster. So there's Blackman, Justin Reed, and then Jonas Sanker. Sanker was a fun draft pick this year. 6'1", 211, great size. Big guy, explosive. You see him, he looks like
highest graded PFF player for us this preseason.
Wow,
He was number 1.
If we're talking about eye test, though, he
passes
the
the
eye
He
test.
had moments for sure.
Yeah.
Where you're like, okay, that
He had
guy's
some like matrix moves for a DB where he's like jumping over.
I wish he would have had a brain though and got out of bounds a little sooner on that 1 second play.
He did.
I think he made it,
I think he did,
but he
too.
cut it
That was
close.
that was the preseason no call.
5 yards sooner. That's a second and a half on the clock.
Oh yeah.
So look, if we're throwing Alante in with the safeties, which I guess the star position probably is more of a safety.
Yeah.
That's a nickel.
It's really a nickel. I mean,
really
it's
a
a
nickel.
fancy term for nickel, but yeah.
Look, we didn't see Alante
It's
at
a
all.
roaming nickel.
It's a Roman nickel. We didn't see Alante at all in the preseason, but we all have been preaching it for years. I think we're the first podcast that was harping on it, that this guy should be a safety.
We were the first.
And
100%.
we were. We've been beating that drum for years now. So I think now we're finally going to see it.
Heard it here
He's going to
first.
understand it when he cashes in and gets a big paycheck and realizes, oh shit, I should have done this and embraced it years
When he has
ago.
4 picks and 6 sacks this year and TFLs and
Yeah.
he's going to
And he
make
gets-
money.
and he gets $20 million a year.
100%.
He's going to be kicking himself for not embracing this change years ago.
I think the corner turned when he had that tweet of nah, when somebody was like, "You should be a safety." It's been all safety after that.
It's funny because anyone who watches him play can see it clear as day. He should be a safety.
I get like the ego part of like CB1 and all that. Like, okay, that's a prime position, right? But why not be an elite at something than average at
Part of
something
being
else?
of being a good athlete.
He's not a great corner.
One huge thing on the interview questions is like knowing yourself as an athlete, and you got to know yourself better than to think you're a lockdown corner when you're not.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're a
It's
lockdown
not his
corner,
game.
you know you are. You're going to get paid, but know that you're not.
Right.
Get paid elsewhere.
So let's talk about corner.
Did you say C though?
I said C. So let's talk about corner. Kool-Aid, all the talent in the world. Like, let's be honest, he was a projected
Number 1.
He was a projected first-round pick going into the 2024 draft season. Quincy Riley, look, man, he's a ball
Could be good.
hawk.
Yeah.
I'm excited about him. Had an interception in the preseason. I hate that he's 24 though. Kellen Moore seems to have a type, and that is to get
Old
these
people.
older guys. Yeah.
So
Rezone Wright. Rezone.
Rajon.
Rajon, is that how you say it?
Dogs.
Sure. He,
True, I don't know who you are.
He's still only,
Rajon.
look. He's Oregon State, by the way.
Okay. Good point.
Did he transfer?
I was just helping you with pronunciation.
NIL.
There you go. Little Tourette's, dogs
No,
Tourette's
it's
there.
just dogs, Rajon.
Yeah, there we go. Anyway, so Oregon State, he's still only 24 years old, though. Good size, 6'2", 193.
All
I don't
those
know.
names you just read though, Max, says why you can't give it a grade higher than a C.
Yeah, exactly. Like Yadam, to your point, is
Don't-
not a starting
Do
quarterback.
not
He needs to
tempt
be.
me.
He's a 4. He should be a 4.
Yeah, he's serviceable as a 3. He's probably a 4. He's definitely an NFL corner, and when he stepped in for us, he was great. I don't forget that.
He's
year.
absolutely an NFL corner.
But he's not a starter in the NFL. He's not a 1 or a 2 corner.
Yeah, agree. And Amadi, I'm not as high on him as you are. I think he's a great special teamer. I don't love seeing him on the field, playing starter snaps for defense. Jordan Howden,
You hate
no
him.
one's mentioned. I mean, I don't hate him. It's just he's been disappointing. He should be better than he is. And it's
Another fairly early pick that hasn't really made that
He's a
step.
4th, right?
3rd or 4th? Might have been
Yeah,
a 4th.
four.
I think
He was
when
3
they-
or 4.
I think
He
they
was right
picked,
there.
they picked him, especially a Dennis Allen
Might have been a
pick.
5th actually.
There was this idea that he would slide in right next to Honey Badger,
Yeah,
and
that's
be a
what they
starter,
thought.
You know,
And then they were signing all the older guys to cover it up.
and that kind of
He's a 5th
Fifth,
rounder.
yeah.
So I guess
not
we don't
not
need to be as harsh on
not to
him.
inflate your tangent any further, but that definitely highlights the mindset of a Loomis Dennis Allen led defensive personnel strategy, where it's like we're going to get a traditional safety, do it the old way. Get a guy who played for Row the Boat college coach. I can't remember what's the guy's name? Minnesota head coach. But it's like hard worker, and look, he is all that. He's got intangibles and all that good stuff. But like
5th round pick, he's been fine.
But
He's a fine 5th round pick.
We're gonna take him.
I don't know. I thought he would be better than he was.
Put him in, and it didn't work.
I think it's pretty good that we're given a C here, and I'm a C minus.
Well, we haven't gotten Corey's grade yet.
We lost our 3 best secondary players this year. Let's be honest about what we decided to do as an organization. We got rid of Lattimore, we let Adebo walk, and Honey Badger retired.
Yeah.
That is a lot to cover up.
That's a lot. Yeah.
It is.
And look, you started the cover up with Reed. Blackman, I think, is underrated free agent signing. Didn't make a whole lot of noise, but I think he's a really good player.
He's been making noise. What are you talking about?
No, I don't think he made a lot of noise
signing
like
stuff.
nationally,
Okay,
but I think he's a really good player. And Kool-Aid doesn't cover up your loss of corner by a long shot. I get that.
Well, now that you're going, give us your grade.
I thought he did. I wrote it down. Shit.
What did you write down? Because I didn't say anything.
You're a couple drinks in, buddy. I don't think you said anything.
Maybe I accidentally wrote it in Max's space. I put C just in case.
That's what I put.
Okay, well, C.
Okay.
For the record, though, he didn't say it until just.
I believe you.
Yeah, I actually didn't.
I think I put it in the wrong spot.
But I mean, for the safeties carry it. Alante helps it, but again, it's potential at a star position, which was not the position he played last year. I think the scheme switch is huge for these guys. Staley over the DBs, he's a lot more of an analytical guy than DA was. And then with the front 7 having a different look, it's going to give these guys something else to look at differently than how DBs would have looked at a 4-3.
It's probably going to be a lot less man on the outside than they've played the last few years.
It could be. But there could be more. For instance, the crossing routes against the Eagles last year just crushed us.
Well, that's man killers, right? Crossing routes, man killer.
And DA loved to do press man. Mm-hmm. With Staley's defense, you're going to have more of a cloud, more of a ruckus in the middle of the field. So that could present a different look for safeties. Maybe they can keep their eyes on the quarterback more than they did in a 4-3 scheme. So there's a lot of unknowns. Mm-hmm. I mean, kind of the common theme, right? But I like the talent. I love that Alante's at the star. I think Ugo showed that he can be a solid backup, or if there's a dime package, he can come in. There's potential with Rajon Wright. I think he showed a lot of the same physical kind of, not freak traits, but just the anomaly type of plays, like jumping, getting the arm up in the air, deflecting a pass like Sanker did. There's a lot to like, but again, common theme, it's unproven.
I wish they addressed the whole team the way they addressed that room.
Yeah.
That we're going to bring in younger talent.
Yeah.
We're going to try and hit it.
To be fair, you can't do it all in one off season.
No, I agree.
2 or 3 year deal.
But you don't have to jump the gun and trade for a 28-year-old wide receiver with 2 picks either. You just take it easy. Let's okay, if this doesn't work out, we've got information to move forward with.
Right.
Put it this way.
That's all I'm saying.
Not that I've ever oversimplified anything or had any take that was any
that certainly
higher
that
than
is an understatement.
But let me do that right now. This whole room will go as Kool-Aid McKinstry goes.
I think you got to throw Yadam into that equation. I think because
but
you can easily avoid McKinstry
if you lose, but right, because you can. But say you
oversimplified it too much, because I don't agree with that at all.
Just saying.
I think you can say the starting
corners.
avoid him.
You can
I think
avoid
you say
him.
the starting
if
corner.
McKinstry goes, if he sucks.
Oh, if he sucks, it's over. I agree with that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if McKinstry sucks.
But we're not good.
Even if he's good, you can avoid him and pick on Yadam.
I would say we're not good even if he's good, necessarily.
Put it this way, the bottom falls out without him.
I agree with that. If he is not,
we can hold our own with him being solid. But if he's not, the bottom.
You got it better on the second try.
Okay.
Well, the first try was a little rough.
But that's what I mean by
what you're saying.
You realize they can avoid his side of the field.
It goes with him.
I agree 1,000%. If he's
awful,
if
he's not the guy, it's over.
If it's awful, it's a boat race every game.
Yes. 100%. But I do think they could easily avoid him potentially.
I don't think he will be, but they could throw away from him. But that's what we
absolutely
had. That's what we had with Marshawn.
If he's the only good player in there, they can.
With Marshawn, they never threw to him. Right. So
because in coverage, let's not forget, if we're going to make Alante the slot in this role, He gave up the most yards in the slot of any corner in the league last year.
So the rest of the DBs cannot thrive unless they start throwing away from Kool-Aid first.
Yes.
Then Alante can help. Then Blackman and.
But I'm
Reed,
saying it's also really easy to avoid Kool-Aid when you can go after. Yep. If we're going to leave Alante there, Alante and
you can just
Yadam.
pick on the rest of them.
You've got one whole side of the field you can exploit.
Yep.
I like Yadam when he is helped by Reed or helped by Blackman or helped by Alante a lot better than the alternative. So.
Yadam should be a 3 at best.
I'm waiting to see who we line up in the slot. Are we going to mix that up? Are we going to, Alante is not great in man coverage in the slot. Mm-hmm. No, not that we'll be running a lot of man. I think we're going to run a lot of zone.
When you're dropping, edge rushers in zone blitzes.
Just to create traffic, right.
You don't really have to do man nickel,
You don't. That's what I'm saying. And I don't think we're going to. I think we're going to.
There's an old school term for it is rover.
Yeah.
You get a rover safety. That's kind of what it is. Anyway.
So I think all that with the coaching part and the scheme part rolled into is going to be very interesting. But I agree that if Kool-Aid is not the guy,
we're fucked.
We're in really big trouble. That's why we all thought for sure we were going to go get Asante Samuel with all this cap room.
We still might, but it looks like he's
still recovering.
I think he's going to have another procedure or something, right?
That's not a good sign. This is what's happened to Peyton because he had the fusion.
Yeah.
And then
he's not playing anytime soon.
We talked about this with Chase Young because, hey, Paul's one of our sponsor, Norton Leatherman, right?
Yeah.
We talked about this a little bit.
You want to know about spine injuries, you call the Norton Leatherman Spine Center of Louisville, Kentucky.
That's right. Paul Silvestri. That's our guy.
Dr. Paul Silvestri.
And we talked about it. Like, if everything goes great, it's perfect. Like, young guys are going to recover very well, but there are complications with it, like we saw with Peyton, where he ended up having, I think, 3 surgeries, cervical surgeries, until he got it fixed. And then he went to Denver.
You know more about all those backbones than I do.
Neck bones.
Whatever.
There you go.
And
spade to spade.
So I didn't see what that was. The follow-up procedure, he could be infected. He could not be fused. It could be all kinds of.
I mean, honestly, we don't need to talk about him because he's not on the team,
right?
So,
that's how bad we all thought we needed help at that position, right? Because we were going to go after him coming off the cervical fusion, and then it never happened. So we're still kind of waiting there. And now Yadam's a starter instead of the first off the bench. I think that's a weakness.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and loop the kickers and the punters and the long snappers all that together. We'll call it specialists.
Yeah.
Actually, we can, returners too. We can just do that.
We're putting returners in the same category as kickers?
No.
That's fine.
I mean, specialists.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
We have to separate those. There's a big gap between those two things.
Returners. Shaheed.
Let's do kickers and punters, and let's do returners.
Okay.
Returners, if it's Rashid Shaheed, A.
Right. Everybody agree that's A?
Next.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's do kickers and punters.
All right, we're back to you. If you have a Shaheed, he's an all-pro.
Long snapper, Zach Wood, he's great. A.
Okay. Kickers and punters, where are we at?
B+. Wait, hold on.
It's okay.
No, I know it's okay.
You got scared,
okay, Nick.
You didn't even let us be like, Corey, what are you talking about? You're just like, fuck it, I'm out.
I wanted to go quick.
Why, you getting tired?
Fine, B+.
B+, okay. Any backing it up?
You said B+, okay.
No.
I'll go next. I'm gonna give it a B-. I think Groupie's gonna have a monster year. I don't know the punter. I think none of us do, so we'll just see. But it's a punter, so. But I think Groupie's gonna have a really good year. B-.
I liked what our one of the social media guys, Devin Snow, hold the mayo. He said, Groupie's unconscious. Which I thought was hilarious because it was 3 kicks in a preseason game. But I was like, I can't disagree.
Dude, let's be honest. He's on to something. We're back to the Morton Anderson days now. I'm telling you.
They were 3 really good kicks. I just thought it was hilarious. Groupie's unconscious. So I was like, I did not think I was going to see that sentence today. But yeah, sure.
You said, okay, yeah, I'm going B. On the strength of Groupie, I agree with what you said. Groupie's going to have a monster year. He's been lights out.
Yeah.
Also,
by all accounts, has been one of the MVPs of training camp. So
yeah, I will also say something factoring into that grade through the International Player Program. Charlie Smith. When I was at the game, you joke about me being in preseason games, but you could hear the ball come off his foot when he kicked that 52-yarder.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you this story.
Amazing.
Having played soccer my whole life,
yeah.
Right? I always tell my
Allegedly.
sister, like when my nephew's a kicker, he's at Southeastern now. He's on the team, and she was asking me about different kickers. I said, listen, when someone who can kick the ball different, know just from the sound. And I was out at the kids' school the other day, and I hear this kicker kicking, and I just hear it from like 200 yards away.
Echoed.
And I have to go walk over, and I see, and like I take a picture of him. And since my nephew's such a big kicker, he's been training with. He works out with Lutz and a whole bunch of NFL kickers. And I send it to her, and I'm like, I said, this guy was just kicking, and I don't know who he is, but I'm telling you, it's legit. And
it's
she's
like a
like,
golfer, like the club sounds different when they hit the ball.
100%,
Yeah.
right? Like, and so I sent her the picture, and she immediately sends me his Wikipedia page. He played a game for the Broncos. He played in the arena, and I'm like, oh shit, okay. So
And look,
agree 100%. What happened with him?
he's signed. He's on our practice squad.
Okay, he's back on the practice squad.
Oh, is he on the practice squad?
Yeah,
I missed that.
Yeah, we got him.
Because you get the free
We
international
still got
spot,
him.
right?
We still got him.
Okay,
but I
good.
will say, because maybe it was because enough people had left the dome by that point, but it was a 52-yarder in the this was the Jacksonville game.
Yeah.
And maybe because enough people had left, I could hear the echo off the foot. But it sounded like a cannon went off.
It's different.
And that ball was above the uprights.
Yeah.
It was 50 yards away.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that would have been good from 60.
Yeah, but here's the deal.
It's a
Groupie is
different-
not giving him any chance to take that job.
I'm not saying that Groupie's job's in jeopardy. I'm just saying
We're grooming him for another team.
if there's a backup kicker to have,
It's great.
I don't think I've
and
ever,
hopefully he gets to play on a team and stuff like
I've never waxed this
That's funny you said
poetically
that, though,
about a
because
backup kicker.
it's such a true
But-
thing. If you hear those guys kick, it's so different. Than
We got the best backup kicker in the league. Let's go.
All right. Any other positions, front office or coaching, you want to get into?
Let's talk about Loomis. I don't
No,
think we've really
let's not.
covered that.
We did.
Let's
We
not.
covered
much.
it.
No,
Are you sure?
I think let's just give a quick little overall view, and then we'll go ahead and cut this one off, and then we're going to do a separate episode for the other topics.
Yeah, we're going
break
to
it up into a
give
two-parter.
our listeners and viewers a special treat to focus in on the fearless predictions.
Yeah.
Hot takes.
So, look, overall, I think I'm a little more encouraged after kind of diving into the roster and really thinking about it. I think I'm a little more encouraged about the long-term prospects and kind of what the vision is. You know, this team got a lot younger over the last couple of days. And, you know, just as we went through breaking down each position group, there's reason for some optimism here with some of the younger guys. And look, you know, none of us were very optimistic around draft time or after the season last year. I feel a little bit better about year 2, year 3 of the Kellen Moore era than I did 2 months ago.
Yeah,
That's kind of my big takeaway.
I'm going to go the other direction there, and
Whoa.
I think we're in a really bad spot right now. Like we need some people to step up big time that aren't in their 30s. And I love that the roster got younger, like you said. I don't know that there's a player I would be upset if left the Saints on the entire roster, other than DeMario and Cam, because I want them to retire as Saints. There's not a
I'd
young
be very
player.
upset if Kelvin Banks, something happened to him. And
He's a
didn't
rookie.
play.
I'm not counting that. We haven't even seen him play. So, like,
No, we've seen him play. We haven't seen him play a full season.
we haven't seen him play for real.
I feel I would be more upset if something happened to him right now than I would to one of the veteran players because
think
this is going to be
for
a
the,
cornerstone.
But that tells you you're in really bad shape.
The
because
aura factor alone, Stutzman.
That's your guy.
Cracker with the juice, bro.
So my overall is I think we improved a couple rooms for sure, linebacker specifically. If we can keep doing
Safety
that,
as well.
safety improved.
Safety's markedly improved.
It
Blackman
is.
and Reed, if you told me
100%.
midway through last season your safeties next year would be Blackman and Reed, I'd be like,
It's better.
Come on.
Running back's better.
I honestly
Wide receivers better.
Well, running back's better with the health of Kendra. If Kendra's not healthy, then it's rough.
running back's the same with a couple flyers on the back end that we like way better than what we had before. I get it, but they're the 3 and 4 at the running back position.
Let's just say Kendra pops a need next week. Like,
To me, the
I
potential,
still feel better about it. Bayless and
yeah, that's
Neal.
fair. That's fair.
but marginally, they're not going to contribute a lot. They're just not.
You say that, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. They're not unless people get injured, which they will.
This
But
is a will see.
I
team.
do feel
This
better
whole team
about
is a will see team.
the moves at wide receiver make a ton of sense except for the trade, not the player, but the trade itself. But getting Trey Palmer, you've got Vele now, you've got Mason Tipton maybe playing in the season and see. He looked good.
He looked great in the preseason.
I was the biggest detractor last year.
If Tipton can translate the preseason to the regular season, obviously there'll be a little bit of a step down. There always is. But if he can do that, that's a huge plus.
I don't think he's any more than the 4 or the 5.
He might not be, but I think,
until someone gets hurt.
But if he can have just as similar of an impact on the games in the regular season that he did in the preseason, that's a huge plus.
Yeah, I hear you, but I don't see it happening because he was lighting up future UPS guys.
I'm not predicting whether or not it happens. I'm just saying, but if
I just wouldn't depend on that.
Not depending on it either.
Also, 24 years old, right?
But I think, the Vele pickup is one that we're not really talking about enough. I think I'm sorry. Well, but I think one thing we have not talked about enough is it was one thing last year not to have Bub Means, but I think it hurts a lot more this year. I think he had a lot more to offer this year. A year. It
would have been
more
interesting
experience.
to see if it makes
it would have been interesting. I think we'll never know.
But the basis of my negativity compared to Max is it's something I've said forever.
That's a big statement.
If you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a team.
Yeah.
And I don't think we have a quarterback. So until that's solved, I can't get overly optimistic about what we've got going on because I once told Max, if you don't have a quarterback, you should take 7 quarterbacks in the draft. Because until you have one, you don't have a chance. You just don't.
Well, and then you don't know if you're making the right decision once you pick.
Yeah, but I'm going to counter with this. The reason I am more optimistic about it, I like what they've done in getting younger, and there's some pieces that I can see actually earning a second contract. But also, if we're as bad at quarterback as we all think we are right now, you're going to have a top 3 pick, and you're going to be able to go get one of the top guys next year. So you're going to get
But that's
the
projecting.
best.
That's not
Well, wait. We don't need to pick a quarterback with our top pick because we got a Rattler.
Or there might be an offensive lineman available.
Jesus Christ. Look, the reality is this team, and we'll get into it on the next episode when we do our final record prediction.
Y'all go listen to our
I'm going to go
preview.
ahead and spoiler alert this. Like, we don't think we're going to be very good. So the odds are we're going to be in position to take one of the multiple first-round picks that are projected.
I agree 100% with that.
With this particular episode, we're leaving y'all on a Netflix cliffhanger where you're going to have to listen to the next one to get our season preview.
There we go. So before either one of these two goes off on a
Record
tangent, we're going to go ahead and wrap up
predictions,
this episode.
etc.
Part 2 coming up shortly. Thank you for listening to the season preview episode, Part 1 of the 28-3 podcast. Who dat?
Who dat?
What a comeback!